or they get to play a bit deeper into the weekend. The winner of this we will see again, I believe, on Sunday. And the loser will have to see if their names float around the player pool as the year plays out. But it's Soniqs, it's nearest airport. We're here on Fracture to get the pistol started, and Soniqs working on the defense here to get us going.
And one more chance here that both of the teams get as this Fracture pistol round starts off right away. And again, is the way that these combinations work out early on that can do everything for the defensive side of Soniqs. They took an early advantage early on against the Nation, but now they have to do it again. Nearest airport, they just come from a match that was 3 maps. It's pretty dominant from them on map 2, but this is a different story.
Oh, and that's a good start. If you ever needed anybody to get started in a series, it's Pure R. We've seen the rest of the team really do their part. Unfortunately, Pure R is only going to be good for the one. JMO and Acreon doing a good job in trading those back. We know that Soniqs, he's usually good to get these kills all by himself. He stays alive, and he cuts down 3 as Giza will finally equalize. Now it's all up to Mina, who's across the map to try and make this play in the 1v1. And quite a bit of utility here. An eye available, a C's available. And this could quite possibly be Giza's round.
There's a good chance here.
Planted.
It's gonna be the T's available, and no idea where Mina will be coming from. Making that contact early on, and the T's that we talked about gonna get utilized. They're gonna catch him as well. He's with the clutch as well, the eBay clutch to start us off.
The eBay clutch to start us off. We got so many in the last series, and we get it going nice and early here in this one. And I mean, Shonk really has been doing so much for the team. Anytime Shonk is alive and Soniqs are at a player deficit, he's always able to equalize, and sometimes, like we saw there, do more than just equalize. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. 3 kills from Giza means the round for nearest airport, and a pretty good start here on the attacking side as they go back to working both sides of the map. I really, really like this from nearest airport. They're not just corralling themselves to, you know, to the north side of the south side.
Which is often what we see here, right? It's just making one decision, sticking with it, but it's like an early aggression combination with the pain shows all the damage for Mina to get taken down, knowing that the Cypher would potentially be playing around this area. And with that, they get one step closer to taking control of this A side.
Okay, here we go. Shonk doing it again. Finds 2 kills. This, unfortunately, would take the ZX ace for Soniqs to win this round. And well, there's no util to work with. Knife still on cooldown. Sheriff in hand. Okay, nope. Knife not on cooldown, was available, but didn't matter at the end of the day. Calypso just running Shonk down, and decent damage for Soniqs as they work their way into their first full buy round.
Like you said, right? It was the map control that we saw early on, trying to make some noise and just making it fast. It feels so different compared to what we were used to seeing from some other teams, even the Nation. Early on with the slow rounds, but for nearest airport, it's all about going and taking advantage, almost having a lockdown from Acreon to work out this round.
And Sean close, very close to this null command. We'll see if that plays any effect. It looks like they might be wanting to fight forward here and play for the orb. And well, Nerve, welcome to the game. Finds a kill onto Calypso, and that smokes down already off the table for nearest airport.
And then there's one hero rifle coming in for Giza, but is it gonna be enough here? Nerf cannot be shot down. We saw what this player was doing on that last match. Might be able to do it again around tower. 3 kills for the Brimstone. 2 remaining here for nearest airport.
And the complete 180 between the way that Nerve was playing on the Viper, playing the lineups, this time just taking the fights.
Yeah.
Winning the rifle fights. And, well, quite possibly winning the round here for Soniqs. Anything still possible with Giza and Precision alive. And look at the util available, right? Aftershock, a couple of flashes, full util for Giza as well. So, information bountiful here. Giza gonna creep on up, finds a kill. Somehow on to Rooney. I think Rooney and Shonk were playing the high-low, and well, Rooney on the receiving end of a headshot. Just Precision gets caught creeping through the sewers. Mina happy to collect that and find the first round for Soniqs.
And I really love the way that These teams like to fight for that arcade control, that tower control so early on, right? It's the first thing that we've seen in the past 2 rounds. And we're going to continue to see it here potentially, right? That lockdown that I talked about from Korean, it is going to be available now. And it's going to be playing that 4-1, the Killjoy, with all the setup ready for Nearest Airport. And seeing what they can do with this one.
Okay, they want to go fast out towards A. Let's see where the lockdown placement is. With the Stampede being heard, that's calling for an early rotation. One trap wire already dealt with. Prowler gonna make sure that that won't be a problem as the paint shells go out and over the top. Mina forced to give up his position and now play underneath sight. And it's not the safest place in a situation like this. But a good stall with that null command. It's not gonna stop this push completely. It doesn't stop the round because there's still 1 minute and 10 seconds left on it. But it does dissuade Nearest Airport from wanting to push this A site.
With all the smokes as well having to be invested from Nerve here. And that's what slowed down the push. They cut the noise. Akron had made it far. Now has to lock down the 1 player on the other side. Gonna activate it here. Is gonna force that play for contact here. Soniqs was trying to avoid. It doesn't matter,
an incredible lockdown. Yeah, it takes the whole site. Mina has to get off the site and he'll collect 2 bodies with it. As Nearest Airport, they battle back to the best of their ability. Unfortunately, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be enough. Unless Akrian can go huge, and he's already started. He's sitting up in his seat. He leans on forward, but Shunk sits him right back down.
That was all about Mina as well. We talk about this player so many times, and that's why, right? Out of nowhere, managing to find an opening, finding a couple of frags for the rest of the Soniqs squad to work with. It looks so clean, such a fast reaction, knowing he had to escape that lockdown. But the kills were going to be more than enough. It's a good lockdown as well used early on, and trying to adapt a little bit more to the Zakin side as they try to cut down the noise, but utility here, it goes back and forth as you get to see once again the side of Nearest Airport looking to get tower control, looking to get that 1 player early on. Chunk though on the other side is not going to make it easy.
No, not at all. Hero rifle for Giza. As the Nightfall, Precision also with the Rolling Thunder available. So they've got the tools to try and take a site. Unfortunately, the weapons might not be enough for them to keep the site. As we trade Incendiary, Sky Smokes are already down. Shunk to find the first. It's Akrian to fall. So now no Sentinel utility here for this team. Beautiful flash. Shunk collects another, and Rooney says, hey, let me get in on the action. That hero rifle finally comes to fruition, but still a difficult spot. Unfortunately, Nearest Airport, they've done good damage, but it doesn't seem it's going to be enough. It's Giza once more. Very tall task. Spike just out of reach. Flash is there. Good kill onto 1. Gonna toss out and, well, try to play a little looky here. Just as Reyna would with the Leer. Tosses out the Hunt and wanted to swing off of it. Unfortunately, couldn't connect to the heads. And Soniqs will find another, which, again, Soniqs, they looked a little shaky at first. I thought Nearest Airport were going to get some wind in their sails and start heading on forward, or wind in their wings, I should say. But Soniqs doing a good job holding it steady for now.
They're playing it fast, right? And there's even more chances to see that fast pace coming in for the attacking side when you have that Rolling Thunder available now on the side of Nearest Airport, and they have some precision. Make it a little bit smoother, and they use those wind conditions so well for this team. This is what has allowed Nearest Airport to make it this far during this LCQ, right? Understanding the small wind conditions and how they can capitalize from them over and over again. So keep an eye on the Breach ultimate as they try to bait some utility early on. Once again, fighting for tower. Chunk was good for 1 before. Can he do it again?
And JMO currently a player who's back on this rise to stardom. As Shunk was in fact surrounded, really nowhere to play inside that tower. People out towards arcade players on the site. And one of those 2 ultimates from the initiators that we talked about, Giza, sends out the Nightfall. Only tags 1. We're gonna play inside sewers, and Pure R just completely unaware. JMO doing it to him from blast packing onto the site. Now picking up the flank. Finds 2 kills for his team. Make it a 3rd as he's got the 1 taps. They're just so darn good. And Nerve's been good, but I don't know if Nerve's been 1v5 in a post plant good.
And that is the problem, right? Of the 1 player that gets assigned to hold tower for the longest time, you already know there's going to be at least 1 player around that area. And for Nearest Airport, They have so many variations on how to shut down this player. For some of the teams, we've seen a double satchel into it after the breach stun is able to hit. For them, it's been a little bit more of that killjoy utility, trying to surround it, trying to use the haunt as well to create that space. There's so many ideas here for Nearest Airport to work with, and so this B site becomes so much easier once you get those numbers on your side. But for Soniqs, it's a good opportunity to answer back, and they absolutely need to in this round.
Yeah, and they don't want to slow down. I mean, look at the buy. They muster up everything they could. A couple of light shields. They're going to be without a bit of utility, but Soniqs want to make sure that they can keep the same pressure that they've had, fight for these extremities like they were doing before. Actually, it's the inverse here in this round. The 5 players were inside the spawn momentarily. Now they're all kind of spreading out towards this A site, and it's a good read for now.
It's a good read, yeah.
See if it continues to be that, though.
Okay. Pure R is able to get that opening. It's a good one as well. But everyone just playing a little bit slower, and the good read that we talked about from Soniqs, all 4 players are on this A side, taking advantage of this map, how quickly you can make those rotations happening, and just leaving that B side that has been so difficult to decipher, to that utility, instead of playing for that contact that has been so scary over and over again. You want to take the advantage into this one and survive before.
A lot of trust given over to Mina in this round, too. The sole player here on the B site. Sure, there's a couple inside the spawn, making sure nobody creeps through this canteen area. Now the footsteps will be heard. And I mean, how much is here to stop this? Rolling Thunder comes on through. Unfortunately, nobody home on the site. Showstopper to follow, and JMO can go deep inside the spawn. Spots out one, but he gets sat down, and Shonk backs away from it, hits the moonwalk, and will survive. Now Calypso to reassume this position. He's not finding anything just yet. Rudy, though, might be in a tough spot. Caught with his util out. Unfortunately, the players on site not in a good spot. Nerve does it again. Technically, plays lineups with the orbital strike in the post plant and collects 2 kills.
I don't know if that was a lion.
He lined it up on the spike. He lined it up on the spike.
Maybe you're going a little too far. I don't know.
He used the stylus to draw the circle in the iPad. It was all a part. It's a brimstone thing.
Right.
All right, maybe I'm a little out of my element. Maybe that's not a lineup.
Just looking a little different this time around, but Soniqs are taking the advantage in a good one here. The couple of frags once again for that controller player that is always able to step up. And Nearest Airport, they just had no information right away. We saw the utility invested into the early round, and for the second half, you just had to go with the Rolling Thunder. Doesn't work out, and the defense is gonna push forward here.
I really like this from Soniqs, whether it be fighting for B main or now fighting for Arcade. They just continue to try and keep, exactly, playing together, and they want to keep Nearest Airport on the back foot, not giving up too much space to allow these explosive site hits that we've seen. Now, this is where things get a bit more difficult, because there's not really an answer to this Killjoy lockdown, especially if you don't have an angle on it and you don't have the orbital strike. So this will clear out the site completely. Nerve hangs around for just a bit too long trying to catch somebody coming on, and it was Giza who actually made the catch. Rolling Thunder, does it deny? No, it doesn't. Spike gets planted and a few members are stunned up. The cross might be good. Showstopper from the opposite side. Mina just collecting heads here, scalping the squad. They'll find a third. Calypso can only hope and pray for the best as the orbital strike gets damaged. Enough for the kill, and not enough for the round.
And that was so good as well for Soniqs. They had the upper hand in the read, right? You see the lockdown. Sure, there's not going to be an orbital strike available to shut it down. But, I mean, even then, you're going to have the Rolling Thunder to come back and play for their retake in such a clean way. Nearest Airport, they thought the lockdown was going to be enough to position themselves. Seems like not really taking into account that ultimate that can do exactly what he did, right? For Mina to be able to position himself, get 3 kills. Now cause a timeout for Nearest Airport.
And this game is just as scrappy as the last one. I'm starting to think that now it's a Soniqs thing, right? Kind of forcing teams to play really scrappy play styles and just trying to play that play style better, right? A team that's probably been working together maybe a little bit longer than this Nearest Airport squad that has made some changes in and out. I think that was definitely the game plan against the Nation, where you don't think that they have the most competitive experience together, so make them really work for X play, right? Make them work for set play, run at them, and kind of throw a wrench in whatever plans they might be setting up. And I think we're kind of seeing that same thing where Nearest Airport are just kind of struggling to keep their head on their shoulders with what Soniqs have been putting together. And that timeout, hopefully enough to really get a read on what's going on this time. Another heavier stack out towards A.
It really was the better read coming in for Soniqs. And the question is, can they do it again? Now that a couple of those ultimates are out. Having done no commando with a KO, now giving a little bit more support, right? We saw Mina playing alone on this B side before, but this time around, getting that initiator support, getting that ultimate just in case things go the other way.
Right here.
And north side aggression. Soniqs just posting up. Akrian gonna try and find a timing here. Out towards Arcade, 2 players. Gonna be watching this one. Mina the first to fall. Does it clear this box? No. He's got his knife out. And sure, the A site's been taken. But a 4v4, the weaponry, still not the best. Calypso just sitting on that Sheriff. Spike's planted. Damage has been dealt, though. Now Soniqs got to find their way into this retake. No more abilities, says Shank. They look to play on through. Precision tucked in the corner. Giza hasn't given up his spot just yet, and he'll take the head off of one. Make it 2 as Pure R falls. Down goes the robot, and Resurrection is available. But look at the patience as they all swing together. It's Nearest Airport for the round.
The 3-2-1 and the 4-1 as well that we saw for Nearest Airport pushing forward for Akrian to get that one pick. Sure, it wasn't Chunk the one that got taken down, but even then, you pretty much get no value out of this null command as it came through, and the Guardians just doing the job for this positioning on Nearest Airport. So keeping it close, winning a crucial round for them, staying alive for a little bit longer. Is now this out of Soniqs. Change their setup a little bit more, having that Cypher towards A side. Playing around. This camera gonna get picked up after.
Three players are walking into this one. And the spray, it just goes wide. The Stinger proves to be one of the best weapons in the game as they try and sneak away out towards Sand. Calypso on the angle, and he doesn't get cleared. Instead, he'll send a round right into the side of the head of Pure R as Precision fights back into main. Grabs himself an upgrade, and Nerve again in a difficult situation. A 1v5 earlier, a 1v3 now. And sure, he has the ultimate, but only a Stinger? Triad? I don't know if that's enough.
Nerve before has either been playing with the rest of the team towards this B side, or more often we've seen him towards A, but pretty much all the utility available, just watching his team on the kill feed getting taken down and having the last chance here. We know what he's capable of doing with these clutches, but now a little too hard. Giza will take care of it. It's 5-5.
This first map is giving us, I think, exactly what we were expecting between these two teams. It's last-ditch effort down to the wire here. This series, for one, is another chance to qualify, and for the other, and repacking your bags and trying again elsewhere. To set up out towards Arcade, a trapwire here on site. And my number one thing when paying attention to these Cypher setups is how can you, or can you at all, play off of these? We'll see if that's the case. Mina just gonna hang out on the site. Meanwhile, up towards A, it's getting pretty noisy here for Nearest Airport.
Oh, and it's because the ultimate here, the Rolling Thunder coming through, is not going to get anyone so far. And that spot, that space has been given by this out of Soniqs, this attacking team, as they take control of this A site. They're playing so far back. They're pushing aggressive with 3 of them into the earlier round. Didn't catch anyone, so it's a 5v5 post plant.
I'm question mark ping here for JMO and Akrian. They're playing out towards drop, and that spike is not planted for them. So we'll see how much value they can eventually find. Orbital strike comes through, and I mean, to no avail. It finds absolutely nothing as they try to fight back through A main. They just get mowed down into the meat grinder. Soniqs will go, and Nearest Airport find themselves a lead.
It is the first time since that pistol round that we see this happening, but it's the perfect timing as well. For Soniqs, they had a read. They wanted to play a little bit more aggressive, find one pick on B, and this is what they love to do, right? You see the synergy connecting with the rest of the squad, as they're often finding the first blood, but it doesn't happen every time, and when it does in Nearest Airport, they just take all that space, all that A side, make it theirs. For now, potential retake as well. As we saw before, it was on the B side with a Breach ultimate. But Nearest Airport, they're gonna try to deny it and try to get something here. Has to run away though. Oh, there's no escape.
Oh, wow, stunned up. Nerve still gets one. A really solid nanoswarm that actually forced Nerve off of that angle. But he's still able to collect one between the stun and the stim. The shots were good. Meanwhile, across the map, Shonk and Pure R kind of just caught out in no man's land. Good backstep from Calypso underneath sewers. That means this B side is open for business. Ult invested, but last round of the half, why not send it, especially if you can get yourself the lead. Meanwhile, Mina and Rooney, 2v4. Rolling Thunder to play with. Mina getting spotted. Okay, gonna find that kill. Rolling Thunder comes through, but nobody's able to play off of it with the lockdown available as well. This is such a difficult place to be in. Inside the safe corner goes the aftershock. Mina playing just on the outside, but it's 8 seconds. Already cut off the clock. With 30 seconds on it, Spike is moving elsewhere.
You know where Mina is. Gonna run away here, and it doesn't even matter, right? It's a 1v2. Mina on the other side. They have that information. Calypso should be gonna get that spike planted here just to have that orbital strike. At that point, you're just hiding. Playing for this ultimate, and you have one more round here. You can make it to 7. It's all up to Mina. Nearest Airport, they're playing it together on main.
And Mina's got to know, right? You have to fight this Brimstone. Because of that ultimate being available, both players inside A main for Nearest Airport. And it's seemingly lockdown defense. Vulnerable was Mina, so a body shot is enough to do it. And 7-5 is where we land after a good start from Nearest Airport. A tumultuous kind of mid part of that half. But they finish it strong, and now Soniqs have to muster up the best they can here on the attacking side. 2 rounds down as we take a peek at how this half played out. I mean, Shonk had some good plays. Nerve had some good plays. Unfortunately, Nearest Airport were just a bit more put together, especially after the timeout.
Even then, right, for Soniqs, they had so many different ideas that we don't see from other teams. When it comes to this defense, playing a little bit more aggressive, going for the triple peek onto B and trying to find something else. And a lot of those, they don't really work out. They don't often work out, but you're going for those different attempts. Now, this is where it matters the most, right? The pistol rounds for the last match with Soniqs against the Nation, Soniqs won every single pistol round. And it's already changed against Nearest Airport. So they would like to take one more for today. At least. Going towards this.
And the read is B for Nearest Airport. And that 0 point might actually keep them there for a little bit longer. The only player defending this A site is Calypso, and I wouldn't even really call it that. It looks like he's got the snowball launcher out, looking to toss out the incendiary to stop an A main push. And Soniqs, they get nervous, and they fall off of it. They're rotating into this B stack triad.
It's such a nightmare, right? When you have the utility on the other side, when you have the Killjoy set up, it is going to allow you to play just off the contact of the turret too. There's a problem when you're playing against that Killjoy composition. It's so disruptive, and because of that, Nearest Airport pushing forward, actually shutting down Mina early on.
30 seconds left.
And Nearest Airport now looking to retake this site that's been assumed by a couple of the Soniqs players. And I say a couple, but now there's only a couple that remain just on the other side of the sky smoke. Shonk and Rooney stand, and I think this is where we also dig their graves. 13 seconds on the clock. Spike up in tower. And the only thing that you can do is hope that you get mercy killed here by nearest airport for the sake of your economy. And that's exactly what happens.
Another pissed around here for the side of nearest airport. The stack as well. It was 4 players as well towards this B side. It was the Killjoy, and it was 3 of the players actually pushing forward, managing to get the first one. But a good opportunity for nearest airport to get that momentum going on the second half. For Soniqs, hey, this is a tough opponent. They haven't faced them before. This is not the rematch that we saw earlier today. This is the first time that they have to deal against this team. And on the defense, they have already proven some of the small plays that they're capable of bringing up to the table.
Here.
Spike is on the floor. It's a default.
Just playing very slow. Mina trying to punish anybody aggressive inside of arcade. Shunk on the opposite side of this B site. Unfortunately, not given anything. Is out towards dish. Nice little trap play. Fault line set up. With JMO just around the corner. And Acreon confident to hold this A site or this A main choke. With just a Stinger and a Nano Swarm. And once more for Soniqs. I mean,
Good timing for Mina.
Yep. Alright, smokes are down. Nano Swarm delays for just a moment. Pure R is taking the site, but the spike does not yet cross. There's a small gap.
30 seconds
Can Acreon find the heads? No, they can't. As Giza actually is so patient out towards that B side, is able to collect that kill onto Mina. Now the spike is planted. And sure, Soniqs have the clock on their side. They don't have the bodies just yet as Rooney decapitates one. Calypso is there for the trade. He leaps his way on through and finds another. Drakearian gonna go aggressive inside main. And finally, the Stinger getting the value that we know the Stinger can. And 4 stand tall as nearest airport find their 9.
The patience as well, right? That we saw for everybody in this team. And then stack the 4 players pushing together. And on the other side, having Giza waiting and knowing what kind of player Mina is, right? We've seen it throughout. We saw it today, but we've seen it in the last couple of days. Every single time the Cypher is trying to get a pick when no one else is looking. And everybody is looking to the other side. And it's not going to work out. And at that point, you're depending so much on that flank to get things going on a second round. It's not the case this time around for Soniqs. As nearest airport, they get to 9. You're gonna pay the full bonus as well.
Yeah,
4
relatively
players as well.
healthy bonus.
Yeah, on B side as well. It's the same setup that we saw during that pistol round. Now, just with all the Killjoy utility to deal with the first contact that Soniqs is gonna make here.
And if, I mean, you're a Soniqs fan, you just have to hope that they don't fall off this angle, right? They thought they had the read last time, and I mean, they would never have known how it actually played out as a microwave completely cuts the team off. Unexpecting, and Acreon just doing such a good... He's not even on the site, and he's able to hold it like that, finding a kill. The only player that got on was Pure R, and it was really to no avail. Now that they know the flank is coming on through, Mina gonna try and hold this one, but I don't know if you're ready for this. A few players, they turn away from the flash perfectly, and that's a rifle to be found for nearest airport as they retake.
Never really losing a couple of players here, but Rooney still managing to stay alive. 19 HP though, it's so difficult. Spike has already been planted, and for nearest airport, they're holding on to this defense, playing it so aggressive altogether.
No way. Somehow Nerve has managed to do it all for the team so far, as Pure R's position has been noted. A tap onto the spike with 36 HP. There's no time. This is Soniqs' round, and Pure R makes sure of it.
That was so close, though. Nearest airport, they played that round so well, and you mentioned it, right? There was so much going on with this Killjoy alone playing on this A site, but Acreon knows what's going on. There's a KO on the other side. He's gonna throw a knife for sure, so he's gonna avoid it. Playing far back, playing off the site, and guaranteeing at least one pick. It was played so well, but it's just a matter of really those rifles making a difference into the 1v1 at the end. Turning that round into Soniqs' way. Now with an orbital strike available. And a setup once again changed by this killjoy. Playing off site. That's just what you have to do when you're going against Soniqs.
It's so much comfortability in the retake here from nearest airport. And they're also dodging out on that 0 point, right? Any knife that goes to site, this killjoy utility is going to stay up every single time. So it's not quite needed just yet. The turret, if the boombot and the stomping didn't already do it, the turret will confirm that players are now on this site. And the spike is planted. Soniqs finally in a position where numbers no longer a factor. They get to play in the post plant. 2 players towards the top side of the map. That being Precision and Calypso. They're going to go hand in hand, but they're going to be met by Mina first.
On spots 1, you already know there might be another one playing close. Overdose strike as well is going to get activated. The knife resets as well, but the kills just missing for a second. Calypso's going to answer first.
And they trade out the orbital strike here. They're just going to fight on through. Incendiary's down, but nobody else is alive. Surely enough time as Giza hops in and gets low. He doesn't get it half. And now there's no time. The miscalculation.
Nerve did it again.
The Nerve lineups in the post plant.
Nerve is able to do it again. Even after he gets killed, there's always an answer for this Brimstone. So well played. In the last second, hoping that they would get it to half, right? But just one of those things that you need to take into account when you're going against Soniqs. Because of that, another timeout actually coming through for nearest airport. And it's been so back and forth in spite of everything, right? Between the two teams. We saw a lot in the first half. It seems like nearest airport was about to take the early advantage into the second one with that third round with that 1v1. But Soniqs as well, they have Pure R, which is one of those players that maybe we don't see early on those matchups, and out of nowhere, he's getting the crucial pick for everybody else to capitalize and get the round.
Yeah, and he started pretty hot. He had a strong start to the pistol round. Unfortunately, since then, it's been a bit quieter, but I think this is kind of how the day has played out for Nerve and Shunk. Mina a bit quieter here on Fracture, but for Soniqs, it's not everybody's day. It's Nerve's day, basically. That's kind of where we've been, and they've been making it work. So we'll see what they've cooked up with nearest airport taking this timeout. Obviously, if nearest airport are taking the timeout, that's just as much time for Soniqs coach to get into the mix as well, or for Rooney to talk to the squad. So we'll see if once more Curry Shot has cooked up the winning recipe, the sugar, the spice, the everything nice, as aggression is the name of the game as they crunch the top side of the map. Nobody's home. And Soniqs slowly creep their way up the bottom side into the A side.
And this has happened so many times. It even happened for Soniqs as well, right? They go for to try to crunch one of the sides as well, go for an aggressive push on this defense, and a lot of the times they don't have the read in the right round. The Relinkton is going to change things up on this A side. And they're looking for this pick. Precision gets shot down. Calypso trying to answer back though. It is all back and forth for Mina to get 2.
Here. And the scramble, you saw Mina, he's trying to find a gun, he's trying to find a body, he's trying to pick up the spike and get out of dodge, not knowing where Giza and Akrian were. But at the end of the day, the dust settles and the spike is planted. A player is spotted inside Sands, and both should be noted in this position. Pure R holds across, finally getting his name back in the kill feed. Nice shots from Rooney, and the timeouts, at the very least in this round, it meant nothing for nearest airport.
At least for that round, but we have to see what else they have prepared. And we talked about Pure R, right, on this race, where sometimes you see a couple of picks coming through, but JMO on the other side, kind of having the same level of performance from this race. We're hoping to step things up when you have that showstopper, at least even creating that early delay for Soniqs so they don't make that push into sight. Once they hear that utility come through, especially that KO knife that can be so oppressive early on.
Good haunt Spots
Can't do
3.
much, though. Oh,
Still in the spawn, and JMO
Bomb buddy out.
up atop the Radiant box. Puts one to the back of the head of Nerve, and just like that, Soniqs start this round basically a player down. We'll see if Acreon goes unchecked, because that Boombot did not clear the angle, and now JMO wants to go aggressive. Paint Shell's right at his feet. He sends out the rocket. Pure getting the high ground himself, and will give JMO a taste of his own medicine. I mean, they're just trying to fight out of the spawn. Soniqs completely corralled, and now they're getting run down from the other side as Acreon and Giza collect a couple for themselves, and they back away from it. And once more, the dust settles, but this time it's Soniqs out on top as Acreon, the last one remaining for the defense, and they know he's on the opposite side of the map.
I mean, look at the map. Look at where everybody got taken down. Just in the spawn. There's no way out. There's no way to sight until now. Spike finally gets planted. But Acreon is gonna get spotted here. Has to play it fast too. You know, low HP, but once again, just so good at playing together for this out of Soniqs. And a turret as well for that early contact. That's as much as you can get for this killjoy.
This is an interesting plant spot. I'm wondering if, does Rooney have an aftershock? Yes, he does. Okay, there it is. He goes underneath. He's got the aftershock from under. It's not necessarily needed, as Mina will do it via frag. We're tied up 9-9, a solid round from Soniqs. And Nearest Airport tried to give them kind of a taste of their own medicine. Said, hey, we remember that you tried to fight us in our spawn multiple different times, so we're gonna do it to you. And unfortunately for Nearest Airport, Soniqs just did it a bit better.
And you have to fight for that early aggression that finally pays off, right? On this defensive side for Nearest Airport, they were trying to go for those aggressive pushes onto their spawn in a couple of scenarios, and it just didn't work out. They couldn't find the enemy.
There.
But for this one, they did, and JMO was able to get that first blood. Has to feel good for this duelist, as things are even though for Soniqs, not as easy as they wanted. Smoke just shutting down any opportunity here, having to wait for it, and this is something that Soniqs is comfortable on, making those rotations, playing around all that utility that Nearest Airport they want to send to them first.
There.
There's an operator too.
There
Can you
is.
find something though?
There.
There is, in fact, an operator. Yeah, fortunately, Nearest Airport not giving him anything. Looking to play these close angles, not trying to peek the long ones. Only having Stingers doesn't feel the best. Calypso, really the only player that is capable, and you see that he's holding here from Canteen all the way out towards Arcade
Yeah.
with that Guardian. I mean, Pure R postured up the first player. Okay, they're going to swap the op here. Pure R going to blast pack his way on. He's got the showstopper, so rocket available, and he'll send it out, but it doesn't find the kill. Giza runs him down and is happy to collect an upgrade here. Now Vandal in hand with 17 HP. Flash comes out, and Shank gets bonked on the head as Calypso will get one of his own. That weapon finally falls, and Nerve starting to pick up the pieces of this round as Rooney swaps off the operator. Here's the footsteps, but it's a Stinger around the corner. A couple of headshot dinks will be enough. A 1 cent right back, and now Rooney has to do it all himself with 56 HP. The Boombot will reveal the aftershock. It keeps him corralled here inside B main. The paint shells do that same job, and JMO will now hold the angle. The shots won't land. The body shots will, however. As a spike gets tapped to half, the fault line doesn't find the stun, and JMO wants to play the angle once more here in the 1v1. Can Rooney hang on? The tap on the spike, the swing is good. Once more, the jump peek, another tap with 6 HP, and he knows he's off the spike, and he's got himself the eBay clutch.
And what an eBay clutch as well for this one. Double digits finally for Soniqs. Going back and forth over and over again against Nearest Airport, but they get such a good round. And Rooney, you've been talking about this player, how good he is at leading from the front. And for those clutches, he's going to do exactly the same thing. What a good round. And it started so risky as well. Pure R going for that showstopper. Giza trying to take the fight onto the Raze and actually managing to shut it down. The Soniqs, they know how to play those clutches. They know how to play those 1v1s. We saw it against the Nation. We get to see it again. Now it's getting to the last couple rounds of this first map, where Nearest Airport, it seems like they've had control of the situation for the most part, but slipping through their fingers now.
And I'm calling, I think that this is an Asuna timeout. I think this is an Asuna timeout in that Rooney comes off an incredible clutch with 6 HP. And as the IGL, I mean, he's probably shaken after that clutch, getting that win. And as the IGL really just needs to take a second to kind of calm back down, to re-wrap his head around the game. And the reason I call it the Asuna is because 100 Thieves once called a timeout for Asuna because he's like, yo, I'm shaking after this clutch. Do you guys mind if we call a timeout? So we'll see. Maybe they've got something else cooked up, but a nice bit of time for Rooney to breathe after that 1v2 eBay clutch. And, I mean, Rooney can just sit back and let the rest of the team go to work. Nerve cooks up one. Giza walks up to the trap wire, but backs away from it. JMO, however, collecting another kill, and that's Rooney maybe a bit too shaky to win the duel. The Soniqs find themselves a player down, but the B site's been taken.
And everybody here is going to be playing together. 3 of the players, some of them going under, trying to take that arcade positioning, but the space has been given to the side of Soniqs. It's a 3v4 though, and a null command activated. There's nothing that can be done.
Nightmare, take them!
Waiting for the right time, and finally the paint chills come through. Nightfall as well.
And Nightfall comes down. However, I don't think the players on site were affected. Pure R, it doesn't even matter. He's posted up just outside the generator, and he will happily welcome Nearest Airport onto this site with 3 kills to his name. And Soniqs, they're starting to pull ahead here, Dryad. It's getting scary here for Nearest Airport. This goes here.
They clear it right as well. You know, no one's coming from that spawn, so that means it's going to be arcade that they have to defend. You hear the Nightfall as well, and you already know what's happening for that shot down 1 by 1. 11 rounds for the side of Soniqs. They have taken all the advantage. And eco, thrifty has to be necessary. And there's a lockdown on this defense. There's a good amount of resources to make it happen. But against Soniqs, it's not going to be that easy. Oh, this attacking side approaching this B side. Only Mina on the other side. Coming from main. It's not going to find anything. It's all about the patience that we've seen from the Cypher over and over again.
Man, he's in that stinger. Always good for one. He's backed away. He's stunned up. He's ulted. He's ulted again as his body goes down. Mina gonna collect the information off of it. Reads the brainwaves and knows exactly where the rest of the Nearest Airport squad is. Nerve gonna post up aggressively here. Takes the fight. Will win it out over Acreon and Precision and JMO. Couple of stingers, an ult to play with, and well, JMO's got his ult online. Unfortunately, it's in way of death, so he'll have it in the next round as Precision swings around on the ropes and the butterfly knife.
It's a nice one.
Maybe he'll just put a show on for us. Oh, he jumped it.
There's maybe as crazy as he gets.
Yeah.
For what is left of this round.
Hardcore parkour.
Yeah. I mean, you have a knife. I'd be pretty impressed, you know? Yeah, you have a knife, you're like spinning it, you're like moving it, and then you jump. Trip. But again, that's as cool as it gets. As it is already map point for this side of Soniqs. One more here, and yes, it was an eco coming through. It was an expensive one as well. It never really felt comfortable with this economy. The second half, even though it started back and forth with the pistol round going on the side of Nearest Airport, Soniqs, they're always so good at adapting. The Nearest Airport, this is their last chance to fight back. With that Rolling Thunder, more than anything.
And last chance to fight back, and they're gonna try and fight forward. JMO needs a kill, he'll find 2. Now the showstopper's available. Pure R finds a fadeaway kill. JMO finds a 3rd on the round, but Calypso is there to equalize. And if you blinked, you missed it. Round 22 is in the books, and it goes the way of Nearest Airport.
It is the first time as well that we see Soniqs all pushing together, right? Before, we've seen that 4-1 being played, leaving Mina alone. We've seen a 3-2 as well. Listening on the top part of the map, but for this one, finally the read coming through for Nearest Airport, spraying through that smoke and managing to stay in the game just for a little bit longer, not even having to invest too much into it, but it goes back. Full concentration for Soniqs. They don't want to take this to overtime. They don't want to make any more mistakes. They're going for the same thing. This time is not going to get smoke. This time is nearest airport giving that space to them.
Yeah, the Soniqs read in this round was surely they don't do that again. And well, that is the right read. I would have been afraid of the showstopper though. And this is, it's available, and I mean everything for retake. Rolling Thunder comes through. Rooney gonna knock off everything inside the spawn. Canteen as well. Orbital strike to try and delay. Good shots onto Giza will find the first. Through the sky smoke, bullets fly. But nobody falls just yet. Calypso and Precision, however, they get aggressive on the other side. The spike will fall, and now 3 stand. The showstopper comes through. JMO was expecting more aggression into the spawn, but is met by only a boom bot, and he can't shoot the rocket at that. So he puts the rocket away. Blast packs on and gets absolutely nothing with it. Lockdown will force the players away. Spike still not in their possession, and Soniqs, they have to scramble to pick this one up. Beautiful flash.
Yeah, the spike yet to be planted here. Such an uncomfortable positioning as well to play back. They depend on those frags, but Calypso's gonna answer back. 3 kills for the Brimstone. And another round for Nearest Airport. What is happening, Soniqs? They make it on site. They were trying to clear out Gen, but they turn around at the worst timing when Nearest Airport were the ones pushing. And there were 3 players as well to make things even. And to take it to another round here. So scrappy between the two.
I thought Pure R was going to have himself around there too. It looked like for a second he was about to clean up everybody inside Canteen, but not quite the case. So we're 1 ult for 1 ult. If anything is heard here inside A main, JMO and Precision are about to hit the Wombo combo. Knife comes out. That'll actually stop this ultimate from coming through. We'll see if Pure R is able to get some value with this showstopper. A couple more seconds left until the util's back online. And here we go, Precision right back into that same angle.
Just waiting for that right time. This can be difficult, especially for a breach as well, depending so much on the communication from everybody else. There's gonna be that showstopper answering back. With that, Ray's actually getting traded between the two. The showstopper, good for 1, but things are even. It's a 4v4. 50 seconds remaining.
Yeah, 50 seconds. Soniqs not quite backing away from this one. The bot was spotted up inside drop, so Mina knows that the Killjoy setup is here. And they don't get a whole lot. At the end of the day, ult for ult, kill for kill, and Precision taken down to 40 HP. Unfortunately, they still don't have a sight, so that might not mean anything at all as they beat feet out towards B. Giza and Calypso are here to try and stop this push. Out from main we go. 3 players here. Calypso gonna back away from the fault line. Won't be stunned up. Giza now gonna try and fight on the angle. Heaps of utility available, but he goes 1 for 1. 13 seconds left on the clock. Nothing to deny the plant, but Calypso will deny some extra frags. Rooney falls, and overtime is just around the corner unless Nerve can do it again. And unfortunately, clutch after clutch after clutch, he's run out of steam. And Nearest Airport will take us into deep waters.
It has to hurt so far for the side of Soniqs. They had such a good advantage a couple rounds ago, 3 rounds ago. And just trying to close it out, not quite working out for Nearest Airport. On the other hand, they had such a good read, right? It was waiting for the sound cue, whether it was the ultimate, where it was a push as well coming through for this attacking team to use that Rolling Thunder, create that delay, and know that 2 of the players for this defense were waiting on the other side. It's taking us to overtime. It is exactly what we expected for this matchup, right? Whoever loses here gonna have map disadvantage into what could be their last match for the last chance qualifier. You have to do it all over again.
What a game we've got for ourselves, and as you said, you painted it beautifully. I don't know if I accidentally just muted myself in Discord, stepped on the foot pedal. My bad. I'll kick that one away from me. This is it. Do or die here on Fracture. Win by 2 is nearest airport. They mount their attack once more. Boombot collects info that Soniqs want to fight for this space. And 2 players heard shooting, so now they know 2 are on the angle. Maybe they look to head elsewhere, and that seems to be the call. Acreon hoping to grab some information here out towards his B side all by himself.
A lot of the rounds that we saw for Soniqs, it was just playing a little bit more reactionary to what nearest airport wanted to bring to them. They were able to adapt just because of it, but the Cypher's gonna get caught. Mina goes down. Pure as well gets stunned. It's a good play from Calypso. Has been absolutely popping off on this match, and they have all that space. 2 players remaining on the other side for Soniqs. What can you do here? Calypso has an ultimate already.
Yeah, the post plant, it's impossible. There's no way. I guess if anybody could do it, it's Shonk and Nerve, but Nano Swarm on the spike, Orbital Strike available, Incendiary available, and they're just dead. They're just dead. What a round from nearest airport. From the fault line inside A main to the trade onto Rooney on the site. That was the best played round as a team for nearest airport in the last 25 rounds we've seen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was so clean as well to see the combination of that utility, expecting Mina to be in that corner, trying to for Pure Aura, trying to be that bait. Not really working out. Both of them get shot down, and there's just no chance for anything else as well for Soniqs. A little bit uncharacteristic from them, right? Compared to what we saw on the other rounds when they were on this defense, playing a little bit more far back, even willing to play for that retake. But when you have no ultimates, when it's overtime, you have to change that strategy, and playing for contact, they hoped was going to be it. Now gives the advantage to nearest airport, who have been so consistent at calling those timeouts when they need to, right? And they lose the advantage, they lose the early numbers, and they're still answering back. And I feel like one of those big reasons why it's happened is because of Calypso, right? Playing so well around the team and trying to give what maybe they were lacking in some early rounds. Now they're just 1 away from getting away with the Fracture.
Placing sentry.
1 away. And they really started to figure out this defense towards the end of regulation. So if you're Soniqs or you're a Soniqs fan, you're probably a little worried at how this one's going to play out. No early aggression, though, like we saw in previous rounds. This time they want to play a bit more measured and allow Soniqs to take this space, but be welcoming them on either of these sites.
For Soniqs, when we saw them on the attacking side, especially those early runs from them, it was quick, it was confident. The confident push is coming through, but this is a different story, right? You're on this overtime, potentially 1 run away from losing the entire map. And so you have to be a little bit more careful. These aggressive pushes have to be more calculated with the rest of utility. Pure Aura, double satchel into sight. And A belongs to the side of Soniqs. Now, can they play this post plan properly?
I mean, there's still technically that microwave set up inside main, so you're in a dangerous spot if you're any player there, and that player is actually Rooney. He's gonna get spotted by the alarm bot.
Watch out.
Only takes a bit of damage, and look how quick they come on through inside the spawn. Acreon falls, Sentinel v Sentinel, and Shonk is having himself the best round of the game. A Sheets flawless to keep us going.
What a round. Shonk answering back. A couple of the players, so were Sands, knowing this push on the defense was going to come through around this area. And things were even. It's a 5v5 post. But out of nowhere, 1 by 1. Look at what Shonk is capable of doing. Getting that support as well from everybody else. We get to see yet another overtime here.
We go again. I was just thinking that Fracture has not been a map where Shonk has really been allowed to kind of spread his wings and fly. He's been up inside tower or kind of just caught in awkward spots, but finally that round Much like we saw at the beginning of the game, where he's holding down the A site and finding 2 or 3 kills.
Yeah.
He finally gets to go back to his old ways. Meanwhile, nearest airport, looking to take this A site, just as we saw Soniqs do in the last. Operator up close and personal, and Mina, okay, baby! 2 kills with the op. He's forced off and forced away. We'll see it in the next round, thanks to the aftershock. The damage has been dealt. He's happy to have that one as Pure R looks to get crazy with the blast packs. Precision once more on the trade, and he's doing his best Shonk impression, keeping nearest airport here in this round. Calypso looks to go aggressive. Util in the hands of Rooney. He'll swap back to the rifle. And we'll see if Precision can get this spike planted.
Burning Thunder, he's going to be available after 3 kills that we saw for Precision. And this is dangerous for the defense. Rooney, Nerve, have to shut him down as early as possible if they want to stand a chance here. And Calypso expecting it on the other side, playing around Sands. It's so difficult for Soniqs to play around.
And both players were heard. They know that Rooney's here jump peeking. They heard the drop from the ultimate inside spawn. Nerve gonna toss out the Sky Smoke Incendiary at his feet. Beautiful flash, but the trade, it's just a bit better. Nerve almost does it again, but nearest airport, hang on. And once more, have a lead in overtime.
Match point.
It seems like it was gonna go the other way, right? It seems like it was gonna go Soniqs' way after Mina got 2 kills with that operator. Something that we don't see too often, especially in that overtime. But Mina taking that risk and getting shot down because of that utility, was hoping that the 2 were enough. But once Calypso is alive and has someone to trade with, it's so difficult. Having such a good game, I don't know what's happening with these controller players today. They've been having such a good performance. I mean, already made it to 30 kills. He's 1 round away from closing things out.
Heroism in the last 2 rounds between Shonk and Precision. And we'll see who steps up to the plate next. They work back out towards A. This time the Killjoy setup is B. So far, a decent read. The eye comes out from Sands into the spawn. They know nobody is on the south side. Giza gonna go aggressive up towards drop. Sky Smoke to delay for now. Pure R, I'm not too sure if he was hurt on the jump up. Giza just looking to reassume a position here on this A site. Oh no, Pure R gets a little silly with the blast packs once more, and things don't quite go in his favor. Mina pushes his way through Sands and allows for the rest of the team to find their way on the site. Check on the cam, nobody inside main, everybody in this defender-sided spawn for nearest airport.
Are you going to be expecting 3 players to be around here? I mean, Shonk, good for 1, but gets shut down by everybody else. They want to make this one faster. It's a 4v4.
Yeah, Shonk's still able to find one, but like you said, 1 for 1. It's 4 live on both sides, but the 5th member here for Soniqs, it's the clock. It's the spike continuing to tick, and well, 5 is greater than 3 as Rooney finds 2 for himself. Wants some more, and Mina will be the next to get it. As Giza just has to try and run through the incendiary, and again, things get a little wacky, silly. Nerve collects the kill. He's happy to have that one, and we go again.
Overtime.
And how many times are we gonna go? I'm not really sure. Between these 2 teams, it's so close. You never know who that first blood is gonna go to, right? We talk about Calypso, the performance that he's having, but everybody instead of Soniqs able to step up for situations like this one. Now on the defense, we saw the mistakes that they made on that first overtime, playing a little too far forward. Maybe that retake is gonna be the answer to get something going on here. Both of the first rounds have been going for the side of nearest airport. Can they do it again? Can they close it out?
And the weight of the orbital strike. They push forward for Nerve to grab that orb. It looks like they're going to walk through sewers to try and find another. In doing so, though, right, Soniqs are playing an adventure game and trying to collect all these orbs. Meanwhile, nearest airport are looking to find themselves another win here in overtime. Aftershocks come through. Boombot, all this utility running Rooney down. But look at Giza. So much damage dealt as Calypso tries to take the duel, but the shots, unfortunately, will escape him. And just before the Sky Smoke can go down, Rooney collects 1. The crunch onto the site, though, and Shonk is here to collect himself. 2 kills on it as Rooney plants his feet and fights for this site. He will make A his own as the fault line will force JMO away. 1v3 with 70 HP, 2 kills away from the showstopper. The spike in hand. This one looking all but lost here for nearest airport, unless JMO can pull off a miracle.
30
70
seconds
HP
left.
to work. Flashed as well. They knew exactly where JMO is going to be located. And this round, this is all about Rooney. Everything that he was capable of doing to hold on to the site, to stay alive, was everything. JMO good for one, but Rooney shutting things down with a 3K as well. And this is exactly what I was talking about. That was all Rooney playing
Match point.
right on site and completely surrounded, right? One of the players on the attacking side positioned towards Sand, spotting him and still hiding in that corner, waiting for the timing for his teammates to be able to support him and to trade. Change things up, change the story that we've seen for Sonic so far on the defense. Now, they get to play that comfort a little bit more.
Careful there.
Where are you going at?
And they want to do it fast. They don't want to slow down, but the fault line will make sure that they do so. After shot comes through and JMO can't reel in the phantom shots. They get a little wild. And the swap on over to the frenzy means Mina will meet his fate. But I think Soniqs happy to have this trade as 2 remain. And they're running right in the trail. They're drafting off of this A push from Soniqs. As the orbital strike comes through, Giza gonna have to fight forward, and he does so right to his death. The orbital strike, the most important ultimate nerve, proving to be the most valuable player here for Soniqs, and he does it again with 3 kills on this round. And Akrian ultimately just needs to accept his fate here in this one. As he finds the first, the double swing for the next. We go 30 rounds here on Fracture, but it goes the way of Soniqs as they've got themselves a 1-map lead.
16-14 to close things out, and the anticipation towards the end finally managing to work out for the other side. The nearest airport that was so close from closing things out, and the first overtime, the second overtime, and it just slipped through their fingers. It is so similar to what they had to deal with on that match before, right? Against 99 Strength, where the first map that they played went all the way to overtime. And they were so close, yet so far to closing things out. This time around, it'll go the way of Soniqs, but you already know how close the level of these 2 teams is.
Yeah, I mean, it's down to the wire, right? We're down to our final 4 teams. After this, we'll be down to our final 3 teams. Yep. And I don't think anybody was expecting anything different. As we kind of get down and we start knocking off some of the last few teams, I think we really are seeing the cream of the crop of this tier 2 scene. And Soniqs, I mean, they're 1 map closer to fighting or living to fight another day. Meanwhile, nearest airport, they're going to try their hands on a sunnier map, that being Breeze, but it looked pretty good for Soniqs earlier in the day. So we'll have to see. That's 30 rounds is exhausting for anybody. I think it's almost impossible to have momentum for either of these teams going into this next match. But obviously, you have to lean towards Soniqs because they did just come off a pretty huge dub. But we'll see. We are slated for 3 maps. We're only 1 down. We have 2 more to go. Unfortunately for you guys, it's going to be quick. It'll be just after the short break.
To some, this is nothing more than cardboard and ink. But to those who know, these are precious metals, rare gems. A full set it took 15 years to complete. Low-pop rookies, hypnotizing hollows. One of only a handful in the universe. Or an heirloom to look after for the next generation. No matter what you collect, raw or graded, to have and to hold, or to crush your opponents with, what matters is that it's real. Introducing eBay's Authenticity Guarantee for trading cards. Our third-party authenticators inspect every detail of your card and compare it to the listing to make sure it's the real deal or no deal. Because we know just how much your collection means to you.
game starts long before the game starts. You get your gear right, your keyboard, your controller, your controller's controllers, and the keys to your keyboard. Because warm hands are faster hands. Gain the upper hand and power up your pregame warm-up with Zippo hand warmers.
Finally, you can stay in control of your thumbsticks. Natural evolution gave the gecko its amazingly strong grip. Our multi-patented SetX technology duplicates the microstructured fibers on a gecko's foot for a revolutionary new way to get a grip on game controller thumbsticks. Like a gecko's foot, the thousands of microstructures on each SetX anti-slip thumbstick grip provide high friction to the skin surface for a secure, comfortable grip, even when sweaty, giving you a competitive advantage. Stay in control with the secure and comfortable grip of SetX thumbstick grips. Inspired by nature, perfected by science.
30 rounds between the two teams. They shared the server for so long, Dryad, but Soniqs eventually came out on top 16-14. That is how math works. And now we set our eyes ahead towards a map 2, that being Breeze. But before we do that, we have to take a look at some of the stats that we had in this one and some of our... I kind of appointed Nerve the MVP. I might have done it a little too early, but we take a look again. 16-14, as deep as you could go. And the most crushing part about this is Nearest Airport made the comeback to get us to overtime, to lose 3 overtimes later, Dryad.
Nearest Airport, I mean, it hurt in so many ways, right? It is the second overtime that you played today. You win both of the pistol rounds. It seems like everything is going your way. Calypso's going crazy, but when you need to win those 2 overtimes in a row, that's when things just change up and don't let it go your way. So 16-14. One of the craziest and longest matches that we've seen so far in the LCQ. It just makes sense, right? Your back's against the wall. You're trying to take an advantage, and so far it's going to be Soniqs that take that fracture. As we look a little bit more into, you know, what can you get from this match? He talked about the momentum, what momentum can be carried for the map number 2. And one of the things that keeps me thinking, right, it is the performance that we saw for the 2 Brimstones that actually end up at the top, right? We're going to be seeing a little bit more of these controllers in a map that feels pretty comfortable for both Nerve and Calypso.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the mental is like for Calypso, who just goes nuclear on this map number 1. Drops
you know, it
33.
Hurts.
Yeah, it has to hurt. 33 kills to lose like that. It's... obviously, these guys have been playing the game at the highest level for the longest amount of time, so I would imagine it's pretty easy for them to kind of wash away with it and, you know, GG go next, but it definitely doesn't feel good. But yeah, it's kind of talking back to the momentum and what it means for the two teams. 30 rounds is exhausting. This wasn't a quick 13-6 stomp for Soniqs to just keep this momentum moving forward as we set our eyes on Breeze. This was a grueling one that came down to the wire where everybody had to do their part. I think the happiest person about it all is probably Shank. Shank is probably so happy to be done with Fracture and to be going literally anywhere else. Between Shank, Breeze, Shank, Nerve, and Mina on Breeze previously against the Nation, like this map looks so good for them coming into this one. And Nearest Airport need to do their best to completely reset, or else Soniqs could quite possibly run away with it.
And there's a couple of things that I'm thinking of, and one of them is exactly what I mentioned before about how Nearest Airport, they already had to play an overtime today for that first map as well, going against 99 Strength. But what happened on the map number 2, they 13-0 them, which sounds insane at the stage of the tournament, but it just shows a little bit more of how good they are at resetting that mental. Going from an overtime game that they lose to a 13-0 is something that maybe we're not expecting that exact score, but we can expect the quick reset coming through, knowing that everything is at stake for the side of Nearest Airport now.
Yeah, I think that is the best way to put it, right? You like in saying that, it speaks to the mental of Nearest Airport and where they're going to be at for this next matchup, but also if you want to compete even in this challenger circuit that we have coming up, right, you have to be a team that can go map to map, and I kind of just wash that away. Having a poor mental is just going to lead to obviously a very poor future and in the games moving on forward. So we'll see. I'm excited. I like Breeze. I think there's a lot of opportunity. I believe both of these teams are going to be rocking the Cypher again, and I'm going to go back to Adder really showing us a lot of these cool Cypher setups. The one thing that I think kind of escaped us the last time we saw Breeze Dryad was having a Cypher setup and having some way to play off of it. I don't think we got to see a whole lot of that from the defensive half of Soniqs because they've shut down the Nations pretty well. But the Nation, excuse me. But the Nation had good setups. Soniqs were running into these good setups, but then Soniqs were just able to break the setup, find the kills, and it didn't matter. So if there's ever a time, I don't know if anybody's paying attention or in between games, if anybody's able to watch this Soniqs Breeze, maybe the nearest airport can find some way to make sure that Pure R isn't just running around like the chicken from Moana, like a crazy person, while the rest of the team is just mowing everybody down.
And this is a good point, right? We've talked about the Cypher setups that we've seen throughout today because that has been so prevalent in the current meta and the way that the teams are adapting. But one of the things that I quite liked is that even though we didn't see it too much for the side of Soniqs, there were some good setups that we saw around B, and they were playing, just enabling the team to play at least for that retake, at least for that delay on the other side. Even if, you know, the Owl drone is taking down the first cable, then you still have so much more to work with. Or even when we saw for the Nation, when they were playing against them, right, is going for the drone, trying to shut it down, going for that dash and that jet to get an opening and to shut down the Cypher as soon as possible if you're going for the B hit, which is often where we see this being played out. And even towards A, right, you're gonna have that KO being so oppressive on the other side. So there's different things to take into account, and it's a map that doesn't feel the most comfortable for any of the two teams.
Yeah, I will say, Nerf
is Nerf
going back to the Viper.
Yeah,
Breeze allows for the post plants. I think that we could be in for, if you weren't already tilted as a nearest airport fan, and if you didn't watch the way that Nerf played Bind and Viper.
I love it. I mean,
you might want to look away.
I love it. I'm not, you know, I'm not so much of a, you know, fan of like seeing all those lineups, but it is exactly what I mentioned before, right? It's only cringe and annoying when you're going against it, but when it's your teammate going crazy with those lineups, I'm more than happy to watch it.
Yeah, well, let's take a look. We've got our agent select just around the corner here, and we can see where everybody's going to lock in. And if it is going to play out the way that we're expecting, I don't know if we're assuming too many changes. Yeah, it's Breeze. There's basically only one way to play it, and I don't think anybody's trying to work the Yoru or the Neon into the map any further. I do want to point out that both Pure R and JMO a little bit slower on the raises on Fracture, and I think being able to go back to the jet here on Breeze is going to bode well for both of these players. I mentioned it at the start of the game for JMO, where JMO was kind of the standout performer way back when we were just getting started playing for Immortals, and then Immortals kind of hopped out of the scene and JMO floated around to KCP, and it hasn't really been that same player. But now playing with this nearest airport team, I think has really started to get back into that form that we know that JMO can play to the best of his ability. And everybody for this team, if you go back and look at any of the series leading up to this one, everybody had their maps, everybody had their moments. It's really a full team effort for nearest airport to come together, and nobody's floundering. Just like we saw Calypso dropping 33, I think, on that last map, we probably get those same numbers, but from somebody different. And I'm going to be keeping my eyes on JMO as we jump on in to Breeze. Once more, Soniqs, one map the lead, and it's do or die. Nearest airport need a win here on Breeze to get us out to Ascent and to try and hang on. And speaking of hanging on, it's Soniqs to hang on to these sites to get us started on the defense.
For Soniqs, we were able to see a little bit more of this defensive side early on today, and it just worked out so well, shutting down the Nation. But now it's a different story. You're going against nearest airport, a team that almost likes to play aggressive and is gonna have that entry towards B. The cage as well to deal with all the Cypher utility that we talked about, all of that setup. that gets broken to play for this retake.
And Pure does good not to give up his position just yet. You can see he wanted to spam through that wall off of that setup. Chonk eats a headshot, make it to Acreon. Doing heaps of damage, and he's going to walk away. He'll survive. Running into a bit of util. For the rest of the players of Soniqs is nearest airport. Happy to capitalize on an open B site, and now Nerve. What can you do? Lineups don't matter here in a situation like this. It's all about the frags. And he's got 13-ish health to trade between 3 players and a spike to defuse. And, oh, Calypso won't allow it. A body shot will be enough. And Calypso picks up right where he left off.
And another pistol round for nearest airport. So good at getting them. And so fast. For Soniqs, this kind of speed we saw from them on the attacking side, but nearest airport is able to show just a little bit more of a taste of their own medicine to the side of Soniqs. Answering back, and again, this can be scary, right? You don't want to give that momentum for nearest airport. We saw what happens to 99 strength just a little bit earlier today on that map number 2. This is why we're looking at this team right now. So Soniqs, we're gonna have to look forward to getting an answer, and you mentioned it earlier today, right? Rooney with the Sheriff is something dangerous to deal with.
Very dangerous. This has also been a very quiet day, really, for Rooney. Usually leading from the front, leading the team in kills. Last game, it was leading the team in assists on the breach. So we'll see if this is his time to shine. It's 4 Sheriffs and a classic separate nearest airport from another round win. Meanwhile, they're rifled out. They're looking pretty good. They sacrifice a bit of utility to make sure they can get these rifles in their hands, but should they win this round, it means a pretty strong bonus going to that full rifle of Soniqs.
Scanning ahead.
There's a camera for this Cypher, but trying to go for that lurk. It's going to be a difficult one, too, as everybody now for nearest airport is going to push together from main.
30
not even trying to
seconds left.
contest that mid positioning and forcing once again the 5v5 full retake to take place is a good opportunity for Soniqs to get a couple frags, and that is what you're hoping for at least.
Yeah, they're ready for it, though. They know exactly what's happening. Precision scoops up 2. Bulldog barks for a couple of rounds and bites for a couple of kills, make it a few as the 3rd will fall. Rooney, what do you got for me, buddy? We talked about Rooney and the Sheriff.
I don't know anymore.
I believe
Dude.
that nearest airport will find this round.
Okay. That's what I thought you were going to say.
I really appreciate that nearest airport coming into this round. Again, they sacrifice a bit of utility. You see Calypso picking up the Vandal, a couple of Guardian. But Giza and Precision, mostly Giza, instead of opting into maybe finding a way to light Shield's rifle, make sure that he's got those shock darts so they can clear out the Cypher utility. Because that's such a great way. If anybody has a Marshal on that team for Soniqs, somebody runs into a trap wire and then they're getting, headshots through the toxic screen. That could have been deadly. So really heads up play for Giza to have those shock darts in that last round. And as I mentioned, this bonus, just look how strong it is going into the full-ish buy of Soniqs. Mina, the only one who can't afford anything.
And I saw a couple of pings towards mid. Is exactly what they wanted to do. The early utility from those initiators just to position JMO right on top of the box. So it's not going to get anything. It's actually Pure R expecting it, having the dash, hoping to get one, and we'll do just that. Giza goes down. Start off with the first blood. Important round for them as well. Calypso bought a Vandal here. Scary.
Very scary. Rooney blocked off. Small gap. Able to capitalize on something, no. Instead, just finds the camera. Calypso, however, in the meantime, has crept all the way up through halls, and we'll see how much of an angle he has into the spawn. Actually, wait. A huge 0 point. That catches Mina, and it allows Calypso to sneak by Rooney, privy to this. So he's going to take that fight, and Calypso, completely unaware, will eventually be sat down.
left.
As the rest of the team here for nearest airport, they try and creep their way out towards the A site. We know how good Nerve is on this angle. And, oh, he's got a kill. He's got the spike just in front of him. Cross is being held. JMO will decapitate Rooney as Nerve looks to fight for some more. Shank is on the backstab. And should, okay, be able to collect. Things got weird for a second. And these Guardians, they're ringing true for a couple of kills. This is great damage in the bonus thus far for nearest airport. Unfortunately, it's only damage onto a couple. 2 to rebuy. Shields for Shank will need to be repurchased, but not a bad round, all things considered, but it goes away as Soniqs.
There's a little bit of back and forth, but it really sets the pace of what we can expect from nearest airport in the future, right? The way that they were playing with both of the initiators trying to support this jet to get an early pick, and the read for Soniqs that really gave him the victory when we saw them against the Nation. And it can be exactly the same thing, right? For the watching out, having to be so careful of this jet, trying to shut down any momentum. Now having an operator fully committing to this round, expecting to win it for this attacking team. There's no one towards holes. I mean, you have the Cypher utility. There's no need. The operator's not going to find anybody just yet.
Again, I think the big question is, how much of an angle do you have with that trap wire? He's, oh my goodness, out through the doors, down the stairs, and finds 2 kills for at precision. Also grabs one of his own, courtesy of the fragment. The operator finally gonna get some value as JMO finds 2, and it's a Sheets flawless for nearest airport as they grow their lead to 2 here on Breeze.
The A split. We haven't seen too much of it today, but with the operator, it was just a matter of time before we saw it. And we've seen Nerve here before. He really went for it and got shot down. There was a fragment, there was a snake bite, there was nowhere to run as well. So difficult to play those corners, and you know, I love to see this plays working out, but that was just not the case for it. Nearest airport getting to 3 rounds here, having a no command available. Oh, and once again, Nerve, where are you?
He's able to get the snake bite down. That'll delay momentarily, but he's immediately taken off the board. JMO just walks forward, turns the operator into a shotgun. Now it's finally back to a scoped rifle, firing at long ranges. It only takes a body shot to get it done as Rooney swiftly collected. The knives as the dash into the wall from Pure R sends him nowhere. Iza sends him 6 feet under. And nearest airport continue their lead forward.
Nerve. Maybe trying to play a little bit more back for the next couple rounds. We know that Nerve is usually playing around this east site. But the early play for contact, even the snake bite, it's not going to do too much. A delay, it's what, 1 second if you get shot down. It's not enough. Your life is the one thing that you have to play here for Soniqs. You don't want to lose even more rounds into this early half. And they can close out this match in 2, and Pure R is going to take things into his own hands. Operator 2 finds a first pick. And around holes, JMO. Quick reaction as well. Rooney misses, and he's going to capitalize from it.
Trapwire keeps JMO at bay. Neural theft for information. But again, yeah, look at this. The trapwire, it allows so much of an angle to be held here. Uncharacteristic miss from JMO thus far here on Breeze, but we'll allow it. You're allowed 1 miss. That's all right, especially the way that he's been playing this operator in the last few rounds. Op shot traded right back. Shank holding down the sight, but over the pipes. Calypso collects one of his own, and Precision now finds himself in an awkward spot. Tumultuous waters as he walks through this A site, and Pure R will happily sit him down. Headshot through the box, 3 kills on the round, and I mean, JMO declared war 2 rounds ago when he brought an operator into the server, and Pure R was standing on the opposite side, banner waving, and happily accepts this op battle.
There's a 2 Jets out. You know, if you remember the last map, they were not at the top of the board, right? They were struggling quite a lot. Before it was with the Rays, but now just looking a little bit better. And it is the same thing that we saw for Pure R on the first map, in the first match going against the Nation, right? A slow start and capitalizing from having the operator in his hands and doing so much more. Here's Airport once again taking those timeouts, and I like how proactive they are at calling those timeouts when they know they need them. You have an advantage. You don't want to lose it. We already saw what happened in Fracture. It's a situation that you cannot risk Calypso for the Viper's Pit. And the early contacts that we've seen, sometimes towards mid, 2 of the times now towards halls. Just all to create that space, but Calypso should be the key here to make it a little bit easier for the rest of Nearest Airport.
And really no better time for Pure R to start to come online right here for Soniqs. Right, kind of topping the leaderboards right now, feeling himself with the operator. If there was ever a time, it's right now. 2 rounds down. J-Mo looking to get aggressive, and there he is again. Pure R happily takes that duel, this time Op versus Knives, as he looks for one more, but the flash, it's extended for just a bit too long, and Precision able to battle back and find the trade. The player spotted backside. Interesting Viper's Pit here. It's going to make it awkward to retake this site out towards A, but the spike has fallen. It has since been collected, but only 3 players stand. Good tag onto 1, which means Calypso is safe from the tag on this drone and can stay inside the pit. Meanwhile, the spike is planted on the opposite side. Shock darts go out. Mina trying to find something, finds his counterpart, but can't quite capitalize on it, and the timing narrowly escapes as Calypso falls. So does the pit, and Acreon has to try and hang on, but 7 health just isn't enough in a 1v4.
The Viper's Pit having to be utilized just to try to cross to the other side from double doors. And they make it to the other side, but after that, yeah, playing around it, it is so difficult. As the side of Soniqs had already rotated, had the advantage, 4 players alive at the end, and they make it to 3. Good reaction as well coming in for this team, with a Viper's Pit of their own for this round. It's a B hit that we saw as well towards the beginning, and we stopped seeing it after a while. It was at the mid, the Hall's control that was giving those runs to the side of Nearest Airport, but they were adapting. Soniqs, this is what they're good at.
No. Rooney has to have some idea that somebody's here. The drone didn't spot it, but he will look to take that fight. Flash out and over the top. I don't think to any effect here towards this B side. Op shot through the cyber cage, but nothing found. They're going fishing in an empty pond. Meanwhile, as the cages fall, so does Precision. Calypso battles back for 1. We go 2 for 2 thus far, and Giza slowly making way on the site. The player inside tunnels cuts down another. Shank gonna try and delay. The operator will hold the angle. Which way does the robot go? And unfortunately, that shot goes just a little high. A bit of a self-flash. 2 players blinded up, but it's Shank eventually taken down, and Pure R. You can try your hand at this one. Spotted by the cam. I think saving the operator might be the call. As he gets tagged up again. We'll finally take that camera down and head for the hills.
Saving this operator. I hate Cypher. I just hate Cypher. That's definitely what Pure R is thinking as well. Trying to run away, but it should be safe at least. To save that operator for a little bit longer.
My ult ready.
To make it to 5 on the side of Nearest Airport. And I was saying it, right? A B hit that we didn't see for quite some time, but they decide to go for that re-hit, and this time it works out. You know that Pure R has been positioned towards Hall, towards that A site too. And this is the time where they react, right? Nerve got shot down, couldn't use the Viper's Pit. You don't want to allow Nearest Airport to get comfortable here.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, we saw Nearest Airport when they were uncomfortable, down a few rounds, and they were able to battle back all the way into overtime. As we're gonna be, I mean, gifted again. We've been spoiled with this op battle. Pure R gonna go aggressive, has the dash on, spots the robot, and it looked like Precision wanted to try and bait, and eventually it does come to fruition. Shonk, flash for Fragment. Here comes the Hunter's Fury. This from downtown, and unfortunately, Rooney. Okay, no, he doesn't come up empty-handed. He finds a tag out towards mid, but as soon as they get that information, Shonk, his head's taken off. Mina sits down the operator, but I mean, at what cost? This A site's already been conceded. Mina and Nerve now have to try and get something done, and it's only Mina in direct proximity of the site. Nerve gonna be working his way on up. 0 point goes out. Recon Bolt to follow. Calypso trying to play the head glitch here, and oh, the Cypher's now fallen. Nerve to battle back, and the Phantom not enough to win the fights. Nearest Airports, at the very least, secure themselves an even half, but we know they want more.
Potentially gonna get more as well. It's such an expensive round for Soniqs there. The Pure are wanting to go for their aggression, but like you said, it was just baked. It's just a matter of time. Dashes out and just JMO taking advantage of it. With two players playing so close, we've seen the close angles that Soniqs wants to hold, they haven't really worked out at all.
Okay.
Because maybe those retakes that give them the better positionings here. Especially when you keep Pure R and Nerve alive until the end of the round. And like you said, Nearest Airport, they secure at least an even half, but they want more. It's an eco for Soniqs. Pushing an elbow. Oh, what do you do?
Okay, I mean, kind of best case scenario, given the situation that we just found ourselves in. The rifle does go down. JMO still hangs on to the operator. Kills are 1 for 1. I think a 1 for 2 is Shonk the next to go. Precision so snappy with the kill onto Nerve. He gets a little sloppy with the one onto Mina, but will happily help his team secure this round. Pure R in a winnable situation, and he knows it. He's gonna pop the knives, but right to the jaw goes the op shot. And JMO out on top, continuing to win this battle jet v jet. And Nearest Airport will find a 7.
Yes. And it was an eco, but one where we are at least hoping to do just more damage. Having this entry into side, it just looks so clean. Precision is one of those players that we don't see getting kills every single round, but when he does, he's getting 2, he's getting 3, and they look so clean. Every single one of those headshots made the job for Nearest Airport just easier. Another attempt of aggression towards mid. Are they expecting Pure R to be here? Spotted, has to go back. Oh, can he run away though from the ultimate? Won't be able to. Isa has the right read. And what a way to start it off for this round.
No dash? No updraft? What was the util available to Pure R that he just runs back after getting tagged and eats 2 Hunter's Fury shots? That makes... Oh, maybe did he get knifed? I didn't see if it was... So, okay, it was. Precision did. Thank you, production. That escaped me. That is just an awful place for Pure R to find himself. As he falls there, operator down, a huge investment, but it goes into the hands of Mina now. He's gonna try and play the retake with his team. Up in the close corner, Nerve is so low in HP, and he had to reveal onto the next one, but he couldn't quite find the kill. Meanwhile, the return on the investment. Mina, proficient with that operator. Also finds an ice warm body. Gonna allow for the ultimate to come on through for some extra information. Op v op, and JMO just a little bit better with it. Now wants to try and find some more, and he's about to welcome Shonk just on the other side. A 1v2, a winnable one, but the timing.
Yeah.
Just after the flash, JMO was ready for it.
That started being a 3v2 as well, but every single player from Soniqs in a different area couldn't really play together. There was no chance for them to trade each other as well. And it was so difficult. It seems like they wanted to play it together with the KO going for the flash, but it was just too late. The damage had been done from the side of Nearest Airport. as they make it to 8. One last round here, one last chance for the Calypso. Viper's Pit available. An operator that has been so effective, especially against Pure R, right? It seems like Pure R, yeah, it gets shut down. Nothing else can be done. Needs some momentum to keep things going, and for this round, it won't be it.
Okay, Sheriffs. Okay, Sheriffs. And the rifle spray gets a little awkward. Nerve almost gets the perfect timing and catching a couple players off guard, but Nearest Airport, I mean, ran away with the half, and we'll see if they're able to run away with the game. Not to count out Rooney and Mina, but now it's just Rooney with the Bucky. And his position's been revealed. This right click, this Bucky, it isn't what it used to be. It's not that young, spry lad as it was a handful of patches ago. But it's the Sheriff instead. And it's a dream.
Enemy down.
Good start. Oh, no.
Please.
Not like this. Not like this. We talked about the Xeno Hunter knife. Oh, no. The knife kill doesn't come to fruition. It wasn't a backstab. And not quite a 13-0, but a pretty dominant performance here in this first half. Dryad, we're not out of this just yet. But how is it that after a crushing defeat, Nearest Airport look like this, and Soniqs look like this? Soniqs won! How did they come in so flat-footed?
There was a lot of positionings that we saw. It's so far forward, so aggressive, and pretty much denying any chance to get that trade onto them. We saw for Pure R, we saw for Nerve as well. The two players that we've talked about over and over again, and it just wasn't going their way. Nearest Airport as well.
Ready.
Like you said, so good to reset when they need to for those maps, and so good to call those timeouts as well. That really made a difference when things were getting a little too closer comfort for them. And again, Nearest Airport on this match, they won every single pistol. With one more, that would guarantee double digits here. Pretty much the map.
Yeah, pretty much the map. I mean, we've seen 9-3 curses before, but... And after 30 rounds, another 12. JMO, I mean, JMO just hot like this. Giza there for the trade, and the teamwork, it's been so good from Nearest Airport. From rounds prior and Fracture now leading into this one. Recon Bolt goes through, reveals the remaining players, and it just allows for Giza to get his hand in the cookie jar for 3 kills. Wants to make it 4, but Precision's there to take it away. The pistol round goes away of Nearest Airport, and the map is on the horizon here. 7 rounds to lead.
Feel so far. If you're in this out of Soniqs, you know you're gonna have to force just a little bit more. Try to catch up to that score, because Nearest Airport, they're running away with it. And it seems like it's been just the team effort that we've seen from every single one of those, right? Making sure that the early contact that they get will turn into the first blood. And the pistol rounds will go their way, with the amount of ideas that they have. JMO, first pick here, potentially second too. The cage to play back. The Chong so low as well.
And Soniqs are just running it down. I think they know. This hopefully is them saying, okay, go next, right? All good. This one didn't go our way. They were a bit better than we were expecting, because now they're in this situation where they're basically forcing perpetually until the game ends. And JMO is killing them perpetually until the game ends.
And only for so long. Things are even. There's a good chance here the spike is going to be planted last 45 seconds of the round. But from so far away, Calypso's waiting for it. Now you might be expecting someone towards mid, but Calypso, maybe the most dangerous one here. And this is the difference, right? This is the difference maker. Playing so far back, Nerve and Rooney trying to waste as much time having those lineups.
player standing.
Nerve's got to do it again. Nerve's got to do it again. He's got a lot of toxin left in the tank. He might have done it. He's got to try and find this kill. It's a healthier member. And that's it. Okay, Soniqs, they hang on. It was not pretty by any means, but nobody said it would. And some things money cannot buy. And Nerve is priceless with all the eBay clutches.
I mean, definitely has gotten the most today, but I wonder if he has gotten the most throughout this LCQ, right? It's just not normal, honestly.
It's not normal behavior, no.
It really is not normal for Nerve to get away with these over and over again. But, I mean, you gotta grab onto what you can if you're on the side of Soniqs. On this map, it was a force that ended up just going their way because of the lineups. Because that Viper managing to stay alive. And this is what we wanted to see on the defense, but on the attack, maybe this is when they shine the most. Nerve. Gonna find the first contact here.
Toxins going up.
He's gonna find a lot of contact though. 4 players pushing down halls. Precision finds the kill. That'll be a weapon in the hands. It should be a Bulldog retrieve. No, it looks like they might have just backed away from it. So still just that hero rifle from Giza into this round as the door opens up and they're going so aggressive. Giza to find another for his team. Calypso on the backstab and Mina unaware. As another kill comes through, Rooney and Shunk have to try and hang on. Vandal, Classic, and a Bulldog picked up a beautiful flash onto 2 as Shunk takes his 1 and backs away from it. Now looks to play his life. Another flash to come on through. It won't delay for too long. Giza falls. Precision gonna try and pick up the pieces. The spike is planted on his side of the pyramid. Unfortunately, both players are just a bit out of reach. Shunk having himself a good time here on the A site, and Soniqs will cut their deficit now to 5.
Chong playing around the pyramid so well. Going for those flashes and getting them one by one. And at this point, this is what you need to do if you want to believe in that comeback. And the 3-9 curse. After losing all those pistols. And this is what happened on Fracture, right? For the side of Soniqs, they lost all the pistols but the rifle rounds. This is when they took advantage. When they started getting those trades, when they started playing aggressive like this. Pure R towards mid. There's an operator. Are you expecting it? Nerve. No, able to react in time. JMO. So quick with it. Oh, and Precision doesn't find his 1.
Spike down mid.
Yeah, I mean,
2v2.
Pure R has conceded the operator fight, but Mina is now the one who wants to take those duels. And we'll see what the setup is like. Still a trap wire in spawn. Cam for halls, but both players come in from the defender side. Mina still wary of the flank. As Pure R dances around in the water. JMO has the blades available, and there'd be no better time. Now the blades will have to wait for the next round. As Acreon now alone. And the 1v2 as the spike continues to tick. And the angles, they're endless. And there's an operator holding one of them. It looks like he's just going to grab an op of his own and back away.
I love when Mina grabs the operator. I mean, you're pretty much guaranteed one pick every single time. And it's not what we often see, right? We see it in the hands of Pure R, and it works out just fine as well. But for Mina, it just feels like a different mood. For the Cypher as well, to make it now to 6 rounds in the hands of Sonic, and slowly but surely making a potential comeback happen. Here's there, we're not really able to adapt in time. By the time they're playing that post plan, it's either an even situation like the past 2 rounds, or there's a massive number disadvantage with, you know, Nerve on the lineups. So what can you do against a situation like this one? It's got to be a timeout to figure it out.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm completely perplexed at the lack of timeouts that we've seen from Soniqs. I think
It's all near his airport.
Yeah, there's been 5 timeouts. 2 in the last game regulation, 1 in overtime, and now 2 here on Breeze. I think Soniqs did take 1.
Just 1, yes.
On Fracture, yeah, and that's, I mean,
they take advantage of these, you know?
For sure. Oh, absolutely. And I wonder how much of it is You know, Rooney is, I don't know if there, I think it just showed a manager for the Sonic squad, so I don't know if there is somebody sitting in that coaching role and actually being an extra voice to the team. So maybe Rooney feels that they don't need a timeout because whatever they're seeing, they're talking through, you know, round after round. They're not necessarily relying on the coach, whereas for Nearest Airport, Curry shot us saying, all right, guys, check us out. This is what I'm noticing. I'm going to feed you this information and let you do with it what you will. That's the only reason, really, that I could think of. But we go again. 4 rounds. Now the lead is... It's starting to slowly but surely dwindle down. JMO looking for an aggressive angle once more. This time out towards mid. He was good for 1 in the last round. We'll see if he can be good for 1 here in this one. It's the saved operator alongside a couple of sheriffs and a marshal here in this round for Nearest Airport.
Mina is actually the one keeping the operator here. Just all playing together towards this B site. There's not too much to deal with here for that Cypher. The economy's not the best as the operator for JMO. Now wants to make that hero play. But it's just so far back. Once again, that retake with all numbers. Again, keep in mind with that utility, they don't want to deal with if Nerve is alive. Mina's gonna make it easier too.
Yeah, and Mina, I mean, playing bodyguard for this, right? They know it. Nerve wants to play lineups, and Mina's not allowing anybody to push that way. If you're Nearest Airport, you're hoping for damage like this because the economy isn't necessarily the best on some of these players. Unfortunately, well, it's only one player. It's Rooney, who really needs to hang on to this weapon to be able to afford to buy into the next. And it looks like they'll do so successfully. The saved operator gets saved once more. Calypso collects a scalp on the way out, lands his way onto the trap wire, and will allow Mina to find a third. Shonk, okay. Icarus flying a bit too close to the sun. Shonk will fly a bit too close to the spike as it explodes, but a 3rd round picked up, and with that, the ducks are in the pond, Dryad. All 5 ducks, in fact, are in the pond. There's 5 ultimates ready for Sonics.
5 ultimates here, and a good opportunity, the most important round maybe, for Nearest Airport to win on the second half. They absolutely need to get away with it. Especially knowing the amount of ultimates, right, that Soniqs is going to have available, is going to have on their side. And the way that Nearest Airport is able to answer back with them. As we get to hear them early on the Viper spit towards that B site. With the 2 players around that side. Everybody else pushing forward. And this is a risky one. We saw it not really working out before. But JMO answers back. Back with the operator too. Oh, no way.
And Pure are just getting run down. It seems like maybe Soniqs running a bit out of steam here. Still have ults to play with. Post plant would be looking pretty strong with this Viper's Pit, but taking the site is what they need to do. And fortunately, for Calypso, he can sit inside this as that cam gets taken down. Akreen was able to help his teammate out. I believe Giza spotted Rooney walking up mid here. Operator gonna hold the line as well. So the cross is held, the body, all the shots been landed. And the 2 remaining for Soniqs just left to kind of flounder out towards mid.
I mean, it's just such a nice setup, alright? And taking advantage of the early utility. Using the Viper spit towards B with the Cypher, that camera looking towards mid, looking towards elbow. Making sure that no one else is going to be able to push. And in the meantime, that aggression for Nearest Airports, it's just something that we haven't been able to see before. But when they have those rifles, is when they have to take advantage. With the last 2 players remaining, Spike yet to be planted and the time running out. JMO back in the game. 3 kills as well for this Jet. Nerve. You're just praying is gonna work out, but it's just so difficult.
Yeah, that's a rough one. Calypso, just a snake in the grass inside the pit, goes undetected the entire time, and Nerve tried their darndest. I'm wondering if, you know, in a 1vx situation like that, if that's a put your Viper's Pit down on top of theirs type of angle and hope for the best, but it just...
I mean, it's
it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to make that call because are you really going for the clutch? You know, do you look to save it for another round? Where we've seen success in Soniqs taking this A site, although the nation didn't play operator like JMO is playing operator, and that has been a huge thorn in the side of what was working earlier in the day for Soniqs. Pure R dash onto the site. The rest of the team kind of just flood in. Pure R dies, but everybody's getting set up. And now people are dying right off the rip. As soon as these barriers fall, JMO's in their face.
That was a very unique round, though, coming in for Nearest Airport. With that Viper Spit as well to enable those positionings to work out. But this one is different. No Viper Spit. Everybody playing so far back in Pure R, finding the first pick. Spike.
They're looking for the cam. They can't get it. And that's your own cam. Pure R getting a little paranoid here. The cam is still up atop the site there. Retake wall comes through. Sean can play the flashes once more. Needs to back away. Perfect timing from Calypso. And a beautiful snake bite right at his feet means vulnerability. Nice peek away from the flash from Pure R, but the wall is still up. Nobody yet on the spike as Nerve playing the post once more, but he's far away from this one. Op shot lands. Mina falls. Rooney looking to play on the outside as well. And I mean, how much time is left? Do they have enough to get on the spike? Adrian gonna try, but Nerve is here to shut it down. Hunter Shuri popped as well, and the spike will blow, and Soniqs have done it again.
Really good reposition as well for Nerve, knowing that Calypso especially was haunting for this Viper, trying to catch them. Pushing from cave. And not able to find anything else. Soniqs, this is what feels like more the game that they wanted to play from the beginning, right? And they had to wait for the attacking side. And we talked about it, right? We were wondering why we haven't seen too many of those timeouts. It just seems like there's a lot of confidence going into this attacking side for Soniqs. Where the defense, yes, it was rough. But you see how they're able to adapt and reset when it comes to the second half. Potentially get a couple more rounds against Nearest Airport. But those mistakes as well can be everything. Immediately shot down. You know where the operator is.
And Mina, I mean, Mina's still doing the op thing. See, I love this because it's not that it's any easier, but you don't have to be perfect with the operator like you do a rifle. So if you're this lurking Cypher and you toss out a Cyber Cage, when you pop it and it drops, if somebody's on the other side, you have to hit a nice flick. You don't have to hit a nice flick on somebody's head to find that kill, right? So the operator in situations like that, I think can work really well for Mina. It doesn't seem that's going to be the situation that we find ourselves in at this instance, but I really like the opping Cypher in a lot of these scenarios. Yeah. And speaking of Cyphers, Ikrian is all on their lonesome, here to hold this B site, and we know what this looks like, right? It's get on the site, get the spike planted, Mina plays bodyguard, Nerve plays lineups, and the round gets won by Soniqs. We'll see if that comes to fruition as they look to take this site quickly.
It's gonna end up on the other side of the Viper wall. Caught by the knife as well. And an ultimate as well that comes through. Actually manages to get Mina.
No.
With barely any time remaining. The Viper wall on the other side for this retake is gonna get placed.
Look at precision. Look at precision. Oh no. The Snake Charmery finds Nerve, takes Viper down. And this retake, this post plant, it's all falling apart here. Pure R gonna play inside the Snake Bite, finds a headshot, but needs to worry about way too much here on the site. And Soniqs, they thought they had the round, but Nearest Airport steal it away and push us to map point.
They almost did, right? Precision changing this round completely, pretty much. He shot down the players playing so far back. You get that information. And the 12 rounds for Nearest Airport. Showing as well the adaptation that we've talked about for Soniqs. We saw it going against the Nation, but Nearest Airport as well with so many creative ideas as well. Precision wasn't even expecting to get Nerve here. Wasn't even expecting to find Nerve just yet. Maybe a little bit more forward, maybe towards window, but it's a different story for Soniqs. They had a streak going on, but they don't have that anymore. Look at their economy too. Trying to get the order here for Pure R.
My ult's ready.
Yeah, it's knives, it's rifles, and it's Rooney Sheriff. And if we've been doing anything, we've been hyping up Rooney Sheriff. Good damage from Mina, but I mean, the trade is what? 2 kills for damage onto 2. The operator still in full effect, and now it's 2 rifles and the Rooney Sheriff. Speaking of which, that one's gone. Erased into the next round and quite possibly into the next map. Ascent is on the horizon. Their vacation here on Breeze is over, and nearest airport are ready to go elsewhere as Nerve, unfortunately, is on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah.
And now finds himself on the wrong side of a 1v5.
Spotted as well, thanks to the neutral theft. And this should be everything that you expected Calypso as well to close it out with a 3K. And a map number 2 going to Southern nearest airport. We expected it to take us to 3 maps. Now we actually get to see them.
Yeah, we expect nothing less. I think the map number 1 really set the precedent of this series. This one, maybe not as close as we had hoped, but a situation where, you know, you don't go 9-3 at the half, and this is a completely different game for Soniqs. They unfortunately looked a bit out of steam on their defending side of things. But we expected nothing less. 3 maps is what we were queued up for. 3 maps is what we will get as we relive the last few rounds. A very winnable one at that, but a huge Hunter's Fury to find Nerve's bodyguard. And then also Precision finding Nerve in that round. I don't think you could ask for much more as a nearest airport fan. And as a Valorant fan, we get to go one more. Dryad, of course, we get to go one more. That map being Ascent, the decider for who moves on to play Sunday and who has to pack their bags and leave early here in the LCQ. It's the last chance, and the last chance qualifier between Soniqs and nearest airport. And map number 3 is coming to you right after this.
Yo, check it out. Want to know if the price of those Wave Runners is too good to be true? Or if I Wear My Kicks 49 is truly selling dead stocks? Or if that Jordan 1 Royal Box is original? eBay checks. See that little blue check mark? Behind it is a team of independent authenticators who check. And we mean everything. Every tongue, check. Every toe box, check. Every corner of every box, check, 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 check. Every logo, every label, every lace loop. Yeah, it's checked. The luster of the leather, the topography on the tags, to the straightness of the stitching on the sole. Everything you can see, and even some things you can't.
Really?
Then they tag them, log them in the system, box them up, and ship them out, with no cost for the buyer or seller. eBay checks, so the moment you open that box is as real gets.
The game starts long before the game starts. You get your gear right, your keyboard, your controller, your controller's controllers, and the keys to your keyboard. Because warm hands are faster hands. Gain the upper hand and power up your pregame warm-up with Zippo hand warmers.
And we finally made it to the very last map of our series on the day. It's nearest airport. It's Soniqs. It's 1-1 Dryad. We erase it all. We forget it all. And we go to the best map for best of ones. We set our eyes on Ascent. But before we get there, let's take a look at how our last map played out in way of rounds, in way of players. 13-8 the scoreline. Not as close as the map prior to this one, that being Fracture.
Still pretty close.
But still pretty close. And again, Soniqs, they looked a little out of steam. Then they started to whip it on. Unfortunately, it was just a little too late.
And you gotta wonder, right, how the adaptation would have been different if things turn out their way into the first half for Soniqs, but not being able to win any pistol rounds, and after that trying to take advantage, but being read so well by that aggression coming in for nearest airport, right? And we were just talking about it, but one of the reasons why nearest airport has been able to perform to this level, even if they lost that first map, has been Calypso. And you gotta wonder how many of those factors really stay between map number 1, map number 2, and now our third map. But Calypso's consistency on getting those frags and supporting the rest of the team has been there, so you have to expect that for Ascent.
Yeah, 100%. I think we mentioned, right, where the mental is after dropping 33 kills and losing. And the mental for Calypso was, I'm not losing this series. Even though map 1 ended the way that it did, like you said, he picks up right where he left off. And if he has to drag the team kicking and screaming across the finish line, he will. Fortunately, he didn't have to do that. And unlike what we saw earlier in the day, where Soniqs were able to capitalize in the post plant so well, nearest airport immediately started finding answers. They did not lose multiple rounds in a row to plants on A, where Nerve can play post plant, and then plants on B, where Nerve can play post plant, right? We immediately, the second time we saw that play, obviously Mina getting killed by the Hunter Shuri is a huge opening in this post plant retake for nearest airport. But then Precision to go on the full flank all the way through the attacker sided spawn to take the fight right to Nerve before the Viper can play the post plant lineups. I mean, that is just huge adaptation, and it threw a huge wrench into the Soniqs game plan, where they were expecting to be able to play a bit more passive and allow Nerve. They wanted to let him cook, and unfortunately, Precision said there's already enough chefs in this kitchen, so we don't need that. We don't need that any longer. But it does bring us to our final map. We take a peek once more at our MVPs. Both Jets were MVPs there at the end. We highlighted them going into Breeze because it's an agent that they're both comfortable on in JMO and Pure R. And now they have to keep it going. One more map. It's, again, the last chance here in the last chance qualifier for one of these teams.
And it just, like, my one concern here for this out of Soniqs is that it feels so similar to the match that nearest airport played before this one, right? Where it was they lost the first map in overtime, the second one they felt a little bit more dominant for this one specifically, and the third one it was also an Ascent that nearest airport won against 99 strength in a 13-5. 99 strength, the team that won against the Nation on this map yesterday. I mean, there's so many factors they need to take into account. And you see why that concern can take place for the side of Soniqs, but we know how comfortable they look when they're able to play their own game, so you're hoping that's the case if you're a fan of theirs.
Yeah, fortunately for Soniqs, though, although the way that the script has kind of been written, it looks like nearest airport do this whole rocky kind of Cinderella story, lose the first, win out, and continue to win on forward. This is a good map for Soniqs. This is a really good map for Soniqs. I believe they're, what is it, 6-2 out of the last 8 games that they've played. Both their attacking and defending side is really strong on this map, when we know that a lot of times Ascent can lean a bit more defender-sided, especially depending on the composition that you're running. And it's another one where they bring the Astra into it. And I love any map that you can play the Astra alongside the Killjoy and the KO that Soniqs are going to be bringing to this one, because you have so much stall, you have so much control around the map. And if there's any team inside the LCQ right now that have the ability to play these agents that you really need teamwork, it's Soniqs. They've been together the longest. They've been doing it together the longest. They're not just a team that kind of got placed together in the last couple of months maybe to try and qualify for this one. So I don't know. I don't think I would rather be on a different map. And again, a best of one scenario where it's a great map for both of these teams. It's arguably the best decider I think that we could have let through. I know that you and I were talking about Pearl, but seeing the way that Nearest Airport lost to or Esports on Pearl, it was kind of a stomp. So you play, it seems like they play against a stronger team there, and maybe things don't go their way. So it's gonna be a banger. It's going to be a banger, map number 3. We're just waiting on Agent Select to pop on up here to see what everybody's locking in. I don't expect any changes. As I said, for Soniqs, Astra, KO, I think Pure R is still going to be rocking the Jet. I know that there is some wiggle room. We did see some changes, actually, with Pure R playing a Sage earlier, and Ascent is a map where sometimes the Jet players will play the Sage. So we'll see if anything changes, but I think we should be seeing some pretty... I guess, stationary or stagnant comps coming into this.
The decision when we saw Soniqs playing that Sage on Bind was to try to create that delay going against the Nation, right? Having that read on them. But the question is, if Soniqs had the same amount of preparation going against Nearest Airport and having the confidence they were able to play that Sage or try to change that composition a little bit more to go for that direct counter, right? And it's so difficult to take into account because, again, it's been so back and forth every single day. The amount of matches that they played in the past week or two is just not normal, not something that we see very often. But those are the decisions that you have to do and the matches that you have to play to make it all the way to the first split. And step by step they're making it close, but it's still a 1-1 in the map score, and we gotta see how Ascent is gonna turn out.
Yep, it's time to keep on keeping on as we've got the Agent Select ready for you guys to see what these two teams are going to be locking in as we make our way out towards Ascent. Again, this is pretty standard for both of these two teams. I've really been enjoying the way that Killjoy is just kind of been brought back to life in this meta because of the strength from her ultimate again. Yeah. But I'm wondering, because now it does take a little extra, if you can be perfect with the fragment from KO, you can counter the lockdown, or you can not be perfect and throw a shock dart on top of it. So I'm wondering if either of these teams, whether it be Giza and Precision or Shank and Rooney, if they've kind of put together some stuff to figure out ways to counter these Killjoy ults that have pretty much been set in stone, right? The placement of the ult isn't changing for Killjoy, right? Nothing changes. You've got the tree ult, you've got the A main ult, the B main ult, that's all the same. It's about how these teams are now adapting to that 200 HP lockdown. Yeah,
absolutely. And more than that, right? I feel like I've become a Killjoy enjoyer. Just watching. And it's crazy because I'm usually just all against Killjoy and Cypher. But watching it recently has been so interesting just because of the setups as well that we've seen throughout this tournament, specifically throughout this LCQ. Yesterday we saw it with 99 strength and the way that they were positioning the turret right around tree and trying to play for contact around that turret. And there's so many cool ideas that you can introduce for teams like this one and for a match like this one, right? Where these are the stakes.
Yeah, these are the stakes. We'll see who's put the server time in, and we'll see who's still got gas in the tank between Soniqs and Nearest Airport as we kick things off here on Ascent. It's the last map for one of these teams. For the other, they live to fight another day, and it's Calypso to take some early damage out towards A main. Garners the information that the Jet is playing here, and Pure R has big shoes to fill here on this map.
No pistol round so far for this head of Soniqs on this matchup specifically. Can they change that story? Can they change the narrative? Calypso gonna take that first contact, a scary one as well, but shot down by Shunk. 3 kills so far, 2 remaining for this head of Nearest Airport. They're split, 1 around tree. Nerf should be able to catch Akrian here. It's a good opportunity around precision. Last one alive.
He's got time, but he doesn't have a whole lot to work with. He's just been suppressed, so his position has been noted. Now he can only hope to find some frags, stack up the ult orbs, get that null command online and nice and early, and he might do so. Good frag, making it for Shank. Well, actually for Shank, 6 feet under. That robot has been disabled, and so has the alarm bot. Mina sits that one down. Turret also dealt with, not before finding a bit of damage. With 14 seconds. Caution to the wind here for precision. As he peeks through the nebula, he will fall. Nerve to collect that kill. And Soniqs to find their first pistol round of the series.
All right, it feels different now, and it's good to see for Soniqs being able to grab that pistol round and even going for the aggression, for that aggressive push. Expecting the exact same thing coming in from nearest airport, and that is what they've been able to do throughout this LCQ, even the open qualifier nearest airport, with so many of those creative ideas for the pistols for the second rounds. But Soniqs, the adaptation as well. Keep an eye on it. It might be scary if the lead gets too massive. And good KO knife coming in on both sides, but 3 player spot, and this is all about the delay, right? We talked about the potential of seeing that Sage. Even if we don't have a Sage, there's so many ways to delay with this composition.
Not that this was an incredibly winnable round, but it just got a whole lot harder. Acreon peeked up to turret peak B main and got spammed by Rooney Sheriff down to 29 HP. So this Killjoy, not gonna be much more than a walking ward here for this nearest airport squad. As they stack up as 5, maybe looking to play Protect the President. Alarm bot available, but I don't think that's 200 credits that you want to use here in this round. Recon Bolt goes out. Reveal on to quite a few, but Mina getting run down, forced to back away. He'll be revealed himself, but no answer on the opposite side. None of these weapons awfully great when it comes... Yeah, 8 HP, by the way. Mina still collecting, eventually falls, and well, the rest of the attack dealt with as Nerve swiftly makes his way onto the site. And Soniqs do good to only lose 1 here in their anti-eco.
And it looks so good as well for Mina. What a Sentinel player. And it's been incredibly consistent in so many different ways. Again, 8 HP. I could have sworn that Rooney was going to go down, then Mina, and then things get a little bit closer, but Soniqs not going to allow that to happen. 2-0 so far, 3rd map of the series. A long day for nearest airport, playing 3 maps in the first match. Playing 3 maps as well for the second match to guarantee they're able to stay alive here in this last chance qualifier. So any step, you need to be extremely careful to take. Their rifles don't really guarantee too much. Spike on the floor, hoping for a peek coming in for Soniqs. Soniqs holding on to those positions as well, having that control of B as well, with all the Killjoy utility for Mina.
Cover going out.
And walk up catwalk, smoke is there. Mina trying to play, peek off the turret. He gets sat down, no way. Rooney gets one through the wall. They try and deal with the recon bolt, but it's a second too late. Now the crunch onto the speed site, and Rooney has to hold it all by himself. Nah, not like this. We didn't get the Rooney Sheriff in the map prior, but we get it right here when it matters most. And Nerve there with the backstab. 2 kills with that Spectre found. Now Giza's got to cut a rug. It takes 2 to tango, and there's 4 players left, 3 on the opposite side. The operator
doesn't know.
Has fallen. Both players on. Fragment to buy some time, buy some space. Shock darts come through. Sean can eat the first. Backing away from it now. Recon Bolt goes out. This should allow for the spam. But there's a bounce on it, and Nerve capitalizes for 3 kills on the round.
Oh, and I mentioned it, right? The rifles don't really mean anything when the stakes are this high, and when you're going against Soniqs on Ascend. It's so scary to deal with. I mean, Nerve awake once again. We saw a couple things happening on Breeze, but this is a different story. 7-0 on those kills. Having that ultimate too. Having that Cosmic Divide to support the defense just a little bit more. And it might not be need it yet. Look at the force as well for Nearest Airport. Oh, they're committed to getting something here, and it was going to be an aggressive push, but JMO goes down. Mina.
Wow. I mean, the
Oh
team
my
play.
god.
If there was ever a moment that you thought somebody was in trouble on the side of Soniqs,
Nope.
somebody else is there to help him out. It's been Nerve the past 2 rounds. This time it's Mina to make sure Pure R doesn't drop the op. Unfortunately, he sacrifices himself as a shot through the wall. Finds damage, not the kill, and Rooney there to capitalize on the chipped away Giza. In a 4th round for Soniqs. Nearest Airport, they got to show us something. They're going to have rifles in their hands, but we need to see some life behind it.
And it's interesting, right? Because when we think about Nearest Airport, what we've seen today, and the players have been really stepping up for this team. We talk about Calypso, but when they play this map against 99 Strength, this was more of the Omen kind of plays that we would expect, and in the KDA that we would expect for the Omen, playing a little bit more passive, trying to get that support with the paranoia, maybe not able to play those forward positionings that we've seen in other maps and in other scenarios. So that means that everybody else from Nearest Airport is gonna have to step up as well, taking that early timeout too, as they've been consistently doing throughout the series.
Now, 6 of 7 timeouts called by Nearest Airport. Good ultimates for retake or for stall here on the side of Soniqs. We'll see if they've got the read on what Nearest Airport want to do here in this next round. I guess the best thing going into this full buy again for Nearest Airport, they've also got themselves the Hunter's Fury. So as soon as Mina gets that lockdown through, Giza will be the counter. But we'll see if Giza can hang on to that ultimate for long enough.
This is all about the mental games that are left, right?
Here.
You know, there's gonna be a turret. You know, there's gonna be someone peeking. There's no way Akron goes down. Quick reaction as well for Pure R. Numbers advantage so early on. There's so many opportunities here for Soniqs to work out, but they might just get away with it.
Right here.
After the first one, after the Sentinels, the Killjoy goes down.
And it feels just so hopeless, right? Calypso has space in A main up to Wine, but for what? Not really a whole lot going on there. There's still a microwave set up here. I don't know if Mina... Okay, Mina pops the microwave actually to stall before he gets suppressed, and now we'll continue to hold that angle as the blind comes through the paranoia from the near side. JMO can go up top, uncheck his nerve. He finds the first, can't quite find the next, but Mina here to capitalize. Oh my goodness, the grinder. They're just tossed right in and they come out minced.
Oh, there's no way. What can you do in that scenario, right? The patience as well to play for Nerve. You try to get and managing actually to get one. And that's how it felt for Sonic so far. Those 5 rounds that we've seen, there's always someone on the other side able to support, able to play for that cross, able to trade for them. And play for this ace side even. Nearest Airport, once again, not finding an answer. Now actually having to go for the save round. No way. It happens again. Even faster.
Again? You let that happen?
Yeah.
It seems like Nearest Airport, they're boomed at this point. Acreon just making that same mistake 2 times in a row, challenging the angle, and Pure R, I mean, is online.
It is what you love to see, right? And for this tournament, there's so many of those duelist players that we've seen, those aggressive players that have been having difficulty getting the opening frag. It's usually somebody else in so many of these rounds, but now Pure R ready to react in time. Gets a second one as well, as if the first one wasn't enough, and the rest of the team should take care of Giza and Calypso. The last one's alive here, one of them getting spotted by the turret, giving away all that space towards mid, and because of this, because they're expecting them on site, it's such a good setup with the Killjoy to guarantee potentially one more round here for Soniqs.
Man, Giza tried to do what he could. Unfortunately, 1 kill wasn't enough. That operator, it keeps falling from the hands of Pure R, but fortunately, they had 2. They had an extra nice little buy one, get one. You take a look back at it, Pure R. I said it on Breeze. I thought Pure R's having a pretty good start. 7-5 at one point, kind of leading the team in frags. Unfortunately, things started to go downhill for Soniqs very quickly. But we take a look at it this time around, and 4 kills, but they've all been so impact onto Acreon, who means a lot for the team, especially when it comes to post-plant, and they've been right at the start of these rounds.
And I was gonna say, right, this is all about the mental games of who's gonna use those ultimates, but I mean,
no.
You get that information, Rooney gets 1. Calypso goes down.
That would have been a shot. That would have been a shot. Unfortunate, Rooney had 3 lined up, but they were just out of range out toward tiles. So the Hunter Shuri, only good for that 1 kill. Although they're probably hoping for some more. They don't get it. Now up towards mid. They take care of the alarm bot. They'll drone their way through, but the door is closed. So if they want to, they have to shoot that one down or push all the way through spawn where 2 defenders here of Soniqs are watching and waiting, and they know.
Yeah, I mean, where else are you gonna go, right? On this attacking side. There's only so many possibilities, and there's a reason why. This defense gets and allows the mid control to be taken just for a little bit because they're able to answer back. Make sure that the site will still belong to them. Especially after the first pick, right? There's no
30
smokes.
seconds left. Recovering it.
Oof, nerve. Oh, some interesting timing. Recalls the smoke. Is able to find the kill. Can't quite find the second as JMO grabs one of his own. Acreon gonna put down the alarm bot. Get that door closed as JMO goes aggressive up towards heaven. He's met by Rooney. And swiftly dealt with promptly, I should say, as Rooney's got 3 on the round, and Precision has 5 HP to try and win this round. But the spike is planted. Shock darts, they've been dodged. Precision, a Herculean effort is what it takes. Unfortunately, he's no god. He'll fall to the hands of Mina.
Remember as well, Nearest Airport, they already took a timeout here. They tried to adapt, they tried to play different. This one around gave them more kills, but still not the rounds. No rounds to be found against this squad of Soniqs. Have been so patient, have been playing those mental games to perfection, into knowing that they were the first players, right, to get those ultimates going, and yet still decide to hold on to them, hold on to the Cosmic Divide. Things haven't forced anybody to invest the ultimates. Now Nearest Airport is gonna finally have that lockdown that they've been waiting for. Can he give them that space though? 3 players towards this B site, trying to make some noise.
And Giza's been very patiently holding on to that Hunter's Fury. Mina hasn't quite needed their lockdown, so it hasn't been necessary. Like you mentioned, a win condition, Acreon having a lockdown of their own. And Rooney very far from the Hunter's Fury, so unless they've got some crazy setup, Pure R gonna keep the aim warm and taking down that turret. Here comes
The lockdown, yeah.
the lockdown. I'm not in love with this. Try it, make it make sense, please. I mean, there's still 3 defenders here on the A site, and everybody's been revealed. 4 players here. Shank just gonna hold it down, decapitates 1, finds the next, make it 3 as Nerve will find the 4th, and another full house to the sheets, flawless for Soniqs.
And that was just so clean. The lockdown, the one ultimate the Nearest Airport has been waiting for the longest time. And it just doesn't really get any value, right? You use it, you try to take that mid control as well to push into side, but that's a mid control that they've had before by just pushing forward, trying to get that information themselves, playing around the owl drone that gets invested. And the lockdown just gets absolutely nothing. 8 rounds here for Soniqs. Camera knife. Scores market Pure R. It doesn't matter though. We'll be able to get that first one. It's an eco. Managing to get 2. Good opportunity. It can Just out of nearest airport, make it happen.
Spike planted. One enemy remaining.
And no way it's gonna be the eco. The 3 players here. Sean trying to answer back, and finally the eBay Thrifty will come through for nearest airport to give him the first round of this 3rd map. But it took absolutely everything here. A good positioning finally for Calypso that he's been fighting to get towards mid. Catching one of the players off guard. And trying to get just a little bit more again. Timeout was already invested for nearest airport, and you already know the advantage here. First half is not going to be possible. But at what point is Soniqs willing to take that forward position? Use that lockdown for themselves. I mean, Killjoy just has absolutely everything Mina. On this B side, there's no way you're making it through. It's because you know that there's a Jet. There's a KO on the other side. Have been working out so well. This is what was lacking for the set of Soniqs on that map number 2. And it's all fixed now. Hunter's Fury coming through. We'll get that lockdown destroyed, but the pigs are the one thing missing here nearest airport. They finally get control of site. They've been fighting for it round after round, but Spike finally planted. Retake scenario here with Pure R and an operator in the hands of this Jet. It's traded early on. Has to grab a rifle here.
One enemy remaining.
Knows that the time is on the other side. And he finally goes down. Could be the start of something here for nearest airport as they finally make it to 2 rounds for them. One more time out here. Seems like should be coming through for Soniqs. 8 is already pretty good, but I mean, you can take it to 9. You can take it to 10 even. With a no command coming through on that B side potentially. Even the nerf Cosmic Divide that we've been waiting for such a long time, and there really just hasn't been a need. Is round after round after round. That has gone this side of Soniqs. A team that, when you look back, when you look at the teams that qualified last weekend, it seems like all the friends of Soniqs had already qualified for that split that we're going to be seeing very soon. And Soniqs, the one team remaining. Can they make it happen? Nearest airport as well, a team that we know so well now for a couple months. Even if the core doesn't quite look the same. With a huge potential to turn things around after a long adaptation that has been taking place. But this is not something they had to face before. A disadvantage like this one.
Here.
Dryad, you are my hero.
Hey, Tanner.
Here.
Dryad, you are my hero. I had the worst audio issues in the world, and my computer went kaput, but we're back now, and so are nearest airport. They've got themselves 2 rounds. Pure R gonna battle it out towards mid. He's good for his 1, but eventually he becomes the 2nd. So a 1-for-1 trade thus far. It's been a damage traded back and forth between Rooney and Acrean as well. But nearest airport seemingly wrapping their heads around how to deal with this Soniqs defense.
Pure R had some really good moments like that one on Breeze where you get the freeze opening, then you get traded, unfortunately, and it's just keeping in check this Jet player, right? Making sure that you're not overheating too much to get that first blood. And it feels like it can be a concern even though both of the Jets now are down. But you don't want to lose the massive advantage that Soniqs has had in the beginning of this first half. Utility here trying to be enough, Chunk pushing forward towards Catwalk. Calypso goes down. It's a 4v3. Spike yet to be planted. Nerf playing so far back. Are they expecting the Astra to be here? Absolutely not. And one by one, Nearest Airport go down.
Yeah, Nerf. I mean, open it up. Open it right up. Now 9-3 is all that Nearest Airport can hope for. Looks like they'll be able to muster up some sort of a buy across the board. It's good utility, good rifles, shields for the most part. What a shot. I mean, JMO just missed his, unfortunately. It just narrowly missed. A good tag from the drone, though, allowed Giza to recollect that kill. And unfortunate that the JMO of old, the one that we saw in Breeze, hasn't quite made an appearance here. 0 point goes out. Blades are online for JMO, and he's unaffected. So he'll still have these knives available as he sets his eyes out towards mid. This time, the switch-up is 2 stars and an alarm bar inside B main, and that turret is actually going to hold that pizza position. So it'll allow for a deep walk-up mid from this attacking side of Nearest Airport, but eventually that'll be sniffed out just like this. Jonk's got to go.
One right, one lab. But Pure R still answering in time, though. For the first one, too. And this is exactly what we saw a couple rounds ago.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Okay, well, one pick here for Akron. Things get a little messy, but it's fine. Soniqs, double digits on the first half.
Double digits on the first half, and I mean, again, not the top frag by any means, I'm pretty sure, but Pure R, you put an op in this guy's hand, you put him on Ascent and on Jets, and he just looks so darn good. It really feels like it kind of took those 2 games for Soniqs to re-warm up to this series and to this Nearest Airport team. You kind of mentioned it coming into this game, where I think it might have been going into Breeze, where you said, you know, there was a lot of time spent, an entire night spent prepping for the nation. But for Soniqs to have to prep for either 99 strength and Nearest Airport, they probably didn't get too much done in way of trying to figure out these teams. And now that we're 3 maps into it, it seems like Soniqs have the read. Now, there is still an attacking side for Soniqs. They need to find 3 rounds to close us out, and defense can be a bit easier sometimes here on Ascent. We'll see how much easier it can be as that turret. I mean, JMO finally puts it down, but holy, it gets heaps of damage. But, okay, damage traded for a kill. That's not too bad.
Pure R going down here. The hands of Calypso. Now this attacking side making that rotation, knowing the Killjoy is going to be close. It's not going to have all the utilities set up towards street, but it's going to be on site. And that means that rotation can actually take place for the defense. Try to make things even. A lot of them took damage, but still not the kills. And now it was just a matter of time. Second pistol round. And the ones that matter the most, they belong to Soniqs. They make it to 11.
Yeah, you said it. The ones that matter the most. And we've seen this situation before. Nearest Airport, they're going to be forced to force for the entire game here. They lose this round, they'll be forcing up Stingers, light shields into the next. Sonic should be privy to this, that this is really the only way back into the game. It's not to save and give up round number 12 over to this attacking side. So we'll see how they decide to play this one, knowing that there could quite possibly be Stingers in the hands of the defense.
It feels like we've seen so many of these forces today, but okay, for Nearest Airport, they make them work out for the first ones as well. Just have Soniqs shut down, give the more aggressive players that this team has. I caught noise here, but a smoke is going to be available. The push going to be so much more difficult. Still annoying. The positioning here for everybody else. The door gets closed. I want to see how Nearest Airport is able to play around here. They get the first picks, but then what?
Yeah. Then what? Can they continue to capitalize on this round that they try to make theirs? A player ahead. Full of smokes, a smoke tossed out mid-sight here. Gonna jump on into it, that being Calypso, but Rooney was ready for it. 3 kills on the round as Mina cuts down one more. Holding down Mouse 1. Wasn't enough for Rooney, but Mina, however, will capitalize. And once more, a full house. 3 for Rooney, 2 for Mina, and 12 for Soniqs. I mean, this could be it. 13-3 on the horizon.
Yeah, this really could be it. And there's something I wanted to talk about, right? You talked about it from the beginning of today. When we were looking at Soniqs and the Nation, about Rooney and how this player is usually playing so aggressive, even as the IGL. Being able to get those frags, and it seems like finally on this third map, we're seeing it. 17-4 on Ascent. And you're not seeing the crazy multi-kills coming in for Rooney, but you're often seeing kind of that support that he's able to give. The rotations that he was able to enable thanks to that utility on the defensive side. And now just having to do a little bit more, one more round for Soniqs to move forward until the last chance qualifier. It's been so back and forth. It's been a crazy lower bracket run, but they were able to stay alive. And it seems like they could be taking Nearest Airport out of this tournament.
And I mean, good on them, right? Using every tool that they have in the toolbox here to try and hang on. The buy didn't seem the worst. It looked like a couple of light shields and bulldogs behind it. Yeah, it's not stingers by any means, but it's also, you know, not 3 vandals and 2 specters with heaps of utility. Precision's gonna be hoping to find some heads with that Marshall. One player spotted out towards the catwalk, that being Calypso. So they'll be smokeless for the next few seconds. And Soniqs paying a lot of respect, understanding that after this timeout, Nearest Airport might be up to something funky. And so they play it slow.
You just have to take anything here. It is so difficult, right? The positioning here for Nearest Airport, even trying to get a trade. An early contact here early on. Actually gonna get spotted and shot down. This could be the start of a disaster for the fans of Nearest Airport. Quickly gets traded here, but site already belonging for the side of Soniqs. Spike is gonna get planted. Retake for Nearest Airport. No rifles in their hands.
Cover going up.
Nearest Airport, they gotta go. The clock is ticking. Rooney looking to go aggressive. Decapitate his counterpart in Giza. Good flash out on the outside. Sean gonna try and help Nerve, keep him alive, but Precision and JMO, they're battling back and again. The corners, they go uncleared. The run and gun, only good for one as Mina, the last one standing against JMO, taps on the spike for just a second. The spray is there. The shots are better, and Soniqs will do it. They add a 6th head on the wall in their run in the lower bracket. They send Nearest Airport packing, and they live to fight another day.
What a run that we've seen for Soniqs today. With the players, with the matches that they had. The day as well, so long for them, but they shut down the Nation and they shut down Nearest Airport too. We're having such a good run early on, but when it comes down to this map, it's a completely different story. The read was so good. They did it to the Nation, they do it to Nearest Airport, and they move